Welcome back to Tambay TV. I am your host, Pael Fajardo. Another exciting guest for today. Sit around the campfire, kids. We got another story coming up. So let me take you back to an age where the internet is new, cable is barely a thing, Sky Cable is barely a thing, and radio was a thing. When you don't have money to buy the album of the artist that you want to listen to, the radio is something you would turn on. I would remember when I'd get home from school, because before I used to take the school bus on the way home when I was in high school. We rarely get radio time back then. But then when I get home, it was one thing that I looked forward to, turning on the radio and waiting for that favorite song. Maybe it was a Razorback song or a Wolfgang song, or maybe even Alice in Chains or Pearl Jam or whatever I was into at the time. I was excited to listen to it. And one of my favorite radio stations, not just mine, but a lot of my generation, at least, our generation, me and this guest, not to date her or give her an age, but it was back then. And in college, it was 2000, and I that's when I met her. And I don't know how big smoking is nowadays, but back in the days, kasi in UANP, the smoking area was the place where we would get together and hang out and meet people. I'm pretty sure that's where I met her. And then one day, I realized that wait a minute, I'm listening to Enyo, and then wait a minute, that's her. And I can't tell you how proud I was. I don't think I've ever told her, but how proud I was to hear someone who I knew personally, and I think she's the first person that I knew in close proximity, someone who I could talk to and whatever, who was on the radio. So that's my short way of saying and introducing our guest with a beautiful voice, a gorgeous face, and the most gentle and generous of hearts. Give it up for Kim Marvilla-Abrigo! Sup,
Ah,
Kim? Welcome to Tambay.
It's ako, mixed feelings ako doon sa intro mo. I was,
Bakit?
of course, I'm like, oh my gosh, parang katanda na
Yun
natin.
nga,
And that's,
sabi ko kasi date ko ba? Bakit fresh na fresh pa naman itsura mo ah? Parang hindi ka tumatanda
ay,
daya eh.
ring light lang yan, Pael. Kung ako sa'yo, maganda ring
Oo nga,
light.
no, speaking of ring light, kailangan ko pala iontong.
Yeah, dude, you need one. This is secret
Yeah,
to ano. Not
yeah. Hindi yan ring light, pero pwede na yan. How are you, my lady?
great, great. Surprisingly busier now during
Good,
lockdown.
which is
It's
good.
so weird though. Like, okay, your
Go.
previous guests, or friends you've talked to, or relatives,
Mm-hmm.
people you've talked to, are they busier now? Especially if they were fortunate enough to, like, keep their jobs.
In the start, people were just like, pause. I don't know what to do. Pero nowadays, especially this is what our fifth month in, or fifth or fourth, somewhere around when I was doing the show, kailan ba? April? Was it April when it started? April, everyone's like, I don't know what to do. Like, especially the people who I know from film who I interviewed. Dude, I'm so restless. We had Sunny on, and he was like, I don't know what to do. But now that things are like medyo, well, plateau di ba? It's the same thing. So nakakahanap na sila ng kanya-kanya nilang paraan. Some are doing like, believe it or not, we were talking about Wincy. Wincy's directing via Zoom. I mean, how do you even
So
do that, di ba?
exciting.
Ang galing,
Like,
di
wins.
ba? So people have been adjusting, and I'm happy to report that maybe the past four guests that I've had on have been saying the same thing. Busier, but then at least they're busy, thankful. Na para, uy, thank God I'm doing something. Di
Yeah,
ba?
it's not busy. Like, I'm complaining about having a
Right?
lot to do. It's like I'm grateful that I have a lot to do. But you're right. I think it's because 5 months into this situation, everybody learned how to pivot.
Good
Like when
word.
like you having your podcast, diba? Parang
Exactly.
everyone's trying to find ways to be productive.
Mm-hmm.
Especially either you're working corporate or you're employed full time somewhere. Me kasi
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm in agency now. So after
Okay.
NU closed, I went into advertising. And yeah, first few months were tough, but then we had to kind of catch up with what
Wait, sorry,
everyone's
which
doing.
agency?
Right now, I am with an independent agency called EP. EP is
Okay.
used to have the in-house agency of Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf,
Okay.
and yeah. So when they asked me to join, okay. So brief kwento lang. After
Go, go,
NU,
go.
right? So NU closed down 2010, correct?
10. Okay.
At that time, obviously, all of us are out of jobs, right? It's like
Uh-huh.
basically all of us were fired, right?
Uh-huh.
So, nagka-existential, ano yan, nagka-existential question na, ano ba? Like, do
What's
I
the next
stay in,
step?
right? What's the next step? What's the next thing for me? Because this is what
Mhm.
I've known to do forever. Like, I was in radio for a total of maybe 11 years.
Whoa. We will get back to the genesis of that later. Pero sige, tuloy mo yan. Go.
Natin yun mamaya. But basically, when NU closed down, I decided, radio's done. It's been a while na rin.
Mm-hmm.
So explore something else. So I moved agency. I started with McCann Erickson. After McCann, I moved to Publicis Jimenez Basic and so on and so forth. That's
Wait,
where I learned.
Publicist, do you know any of my cousins? Any of the Bautistas?
Oo.
Bautista? Angka?
Yeah! Oh my God! Aka used to give me like drip coffee. She's so sweet.
Ah, talaga? She's my cousin, dude.
Dude, she's super my girl crush. She's so
Ganda.
yeah. I love Anka.
Yeah, she's my cousin. Shout out to
Right.
Axe if you're listening. I knew it. Sa Publicist na. Lagi pala kayo
Yeah.
office mates.
Tapos, as in magka-ano kami, magkatabi kami ng row.
Okay.
Gano'n kami kalapit.
Nice.
So, yeah, because we were both in accounts, right?
Yep.
And then Amka, actually, like Amka, she also left the big agency world to start her own agency
Yep.
with Nick and her friends.
Mhm.
It's kind of the path I took also. So
Mhm.
a friend of a friend talked to me, told me, hey, the in-house agency of Coffee Bean want to branch out, service other clients, and
Mhm.
we're building. So he
Mhm.
asked me to come in and help him build the team. So I did. That was 3 years ago, and that's EP. Elevation Partners. That's what it's really called. So yeah, I've been with them for 3 years now, and that's
Mhm.
what's keep busy.
Well,
Yeah.
before we rewind, gusto ko lang with Busy. How do you guys handle your clients in a Zoom slash tele Skype meeting world?
Good. As in, ano kami, actually, ngayon lang namin na-realize na, holy crap, kung agency ka, unless may shoot ka, kung
Mhm.
agency ka, kaya mo mag-work from home. So we're actually considering like, do we downsize our office? Kasi
Mhm.
parang everybody found the rhythm like it's
Mhm.
all meetings, it's all presentations, and all the tools are available.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's quite. I think we've adjusted to it well. I don't think an office space is very
Sorry, commercial.
smart.
Nasabi mong si Angka tsaka shoot ito. Tingnan mo yung tsura niya. Oh shit, sama ng ano.
Makita,
Oo
live mo
nga
na
eh.
ko.
Oo nga eh. Hindi ko alam kung paano ko share screen to eh. Basta naka-hazmat suit siya. Sorry,
So,
sama. I'll tell her in a second. That was,
oh my God, cousins.
yeah, first cousins. As in, dikit.
Now that I think about it, parang you do have the same like
We
short
do.
and maputi, right?
Yep,
Oh, that's true. I also know her, though I'm not close to her younger sister because I used to CrossFit with her.
Jovita.
Oh,
Si
yeah.
Maia. Dalawa yon. Dalawang
I think Joe.
Joe. Yeah. Oh, tama, CrossFit. Chubby face. Chubbier face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We used to CrossFit. So your cousins.
Yep. Small world. Wait, so pag nag-ano kayo, how do you, especially yan, that's why I showed Anka's photo because she was in a shoot, full, what do you call it, PPE, mask and lahat, well, medyo hindi clear, I don't know how to share it on screen, but anyway, so do you attend shoots? Diba, that's part of your responsibility as an account manager, account specialist, manager.
Yeah. I personally don't. Right now, my role with EP kasi is more business development.
Uh-huh.
Business. So what we do is we have an in-house production team. So that production team, they're the ones who go to shoots, but we limit it to 5 people. So you only have like your prod people and like your art director. The accounts people, like I've already told my accounts team, don't go to a shoot. If you can manage like even the clients, we discourage them from going. So everything is Zoom approvals. Minsan we leave the Zoom on. You know what I mean? So they can watch, so they can see what's happening there. So it's really all remote. For the team, we send out full PPEs. We require them to take a rapid test a day before the shoot or 2 days before the shoot.
Wow.
But since your rapid tests aren't really accurate, we also have safety precautions in place during the shoot. So social distancing still practiced, the PPEs are still practiced. Kasi you don't know baka mamaya false negative yan, diba?
Is that the swab that you put in your nose? I've never been tested.
No, COVID. Hindi siguro lumalabas, no? Nasa bahay ka lang.
Oh, then pizza. Occasionally, I get to go out once a week with my dad to the grocery. That's it. This afternoon, I tried LBC because I had to ship one of my pieces to Batangas.
Yeah.
Yung pila, grabe, and it's not social distancing for shit. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'll try something else.
Yeah, dude. You know what? Like, I'm so impressed that you still go to the grocery once a week. I haven't stepped out since March 13th. I'm not joking.
What?
I have all condo for 5 months straight.
What?
Yeah. Pero ang galing ko, Pael, like I learned I'm really, really good at online shopping now.
Akala ko ano sasabihin.
Delivered.
Wait, bakit? Not even to get a piece of a sunrise or whatever?
Well, we have a balcony. So,
tapat-tapat ka lang doon. Okay.
Labas lang ako. But, yeah, I am, you know how there are 2 people, 2 kinds of people during the pandemic. One na parang bravado, pero sige, safe pa rin. Pero, diba, parang parang as long as you're safe, carry yan, diba? And then there are those that are on the more paranoid.
Yep.
Andun ako.
Dude, tell March, dude. Woo!
Yeah.
Paano ko nag-grocery? Online lahat. Everything's delivered to your doorstep.
Kilala ko na lahat ng mga fruits and veggie supplier. As in, direct supplier yan. Napapick up ko sa nila, sa mga warehouse nila. But, I really haven't stepped out. Even my husband hasn't stepped out. Like, I don't let him because I'm like,
you'll bring something home.
Oh, diba?
What does hubby do?
Hubby is, he owns an events agency.
Aray!
So, yes. The events group is called Eventscape Manila.
I know Eventscape.
Yeah, with Stephen.
Oh, Stephen. Yeah.
But they pivoted quite well. I think parang around April pa lang, todo pivot na sila agad. So now we're doing online events. So live events online.
Oof, okay.
Yeah. Pero syempre, he misses the on-ground. Kasi that's what diba?
Exactly, it's meeting the people, it's getting to, I don't know, it's a tactile of, diba?
It's the high of mounting an event. You know, when you're at an event, it's different. Yeah. When you see it come to life, it's different.
The anticipation, the hyping, lahat, diba? It's part of it. Watching the stadium get full, diba? It's like, oh, exciting to mamayang gabi, diba?
Energy, like, I think, ang prediction nila is mga 2022 pa. Magiging confident mga tao to go back to it.
Are you serious? Kasi in my head, 2021. Ang theory ko kasi, by December, a-announce na nila na may mga alien. Yun talaga yung theory ko eh. I promise.
Okay.
Mag-announce, okay guys, sorry. Nagkakaskat kayo, nandito na yung mga alien. But anyway, that's my theory.
Tapos sabay, magtatanggal ng face si Duterte tsaka si Trump.
Sila pala. We have landed.
Alam mo that.
Layo na tayo. O, rewind tayo, rewind. One of the
aliens lang pinag-uusapan.
Ano?
Aliens lang.
Aliens lang. Doon lang tayo. Doon ba tayo kay politiko?
Yeah,
Masyado.
but 2022, that's such a long time from now. But if you think about it, holy shit, man, it's been like this for 5 months.
5 months.
So
I know. So, well, you haven't gone out in 5 months. I don't know how you managed, dude.
crazy, no? Crazy ko
Oh,
talaga.
bakit? Bakit? Ayaw mo sumubok man lang maski grocery? Wala?
Nope,
Damn.
I can
How
do it,
about
no,
your
but
relatives? Sister, mother, brother, sister?
okay. I haven't seen them. I'm very, very close to my lolo, and he also hasn't obviously gone out for 5 months because he's 93. So
Iba
I'm
naman
also
yun.
scared to see him. You know what I mean? Kasi
Uh-huh.
parang what if parang on my way there,
Oo, dadala
I
mo pa. Oh.
so
Pero
yeah,
grabe
this will
naman. Grabe naman, grabe. O teka, rewind. My favorite question to opening salvo. Since it is a geek show and I know you don't like labels, you don't want to be a poser geek, but it's not about that. It's about your love for pop culture and your introduction to the the totoy stuff, the childish stuff. What keeps you young, or what stuff you like to read. So my question always starts with what was your first introduction to pop culture in any form? It doesn't have cartoon, book, whatever. Kasi I'm sure mahilig ka magbasa kasi magaling ka magsalita. So, 'di ba? Ganun yun eh.
iba assumption mo.
'Di ba? Tama naman eh. You can't pull off like talking on the radio to no one, you know what I mean? And do that as profoundly as you do. Oh, but by the way, totoo yun. I meant what I said. I was proud. I've always been proud. Oy, si Kim, nasa radyo. Parang it was a thing. Pero
Never mo
darating,
sa akin na.
ano?
Never mo sa akin yung dati
Kaya nga, yun nga yung masarap sa show na to
Nag-black
eh.
food green ka.
Di ba paano pa nakikita din naman tayo?
Ha?
Ano?
Usapan natin yan mamaya.
Mamaya, darating tayo dyan kung magkalala.
Okay, my first introduction to pop culture,
Uh-huh.
I would say, it's like most little girls without, ako kasi I'm an only child, so I don't have
Okay.
influences from, like elder siblings or kuyas or ates. So it
Makes
really
sense.
was, wala. Disney straight up for me. Little Mermaid, I think.
Yes!
You know,
Teka lang, tama. Basta bagay. We were 8? 8?
we were 8, yeah. Because if younger than that, it would be your Rainbow Brights, it would be your Shiras,
Shira, yun.
Right, sure. But I wouldn't say that I was completely aware, you know what I mean, of what
Okay.
pop culture is at that age. But yeah, of course, cartoons, diba? Sige, sabihin na natin
Okay.
Shiras, sabihin natin Rainbow Bright, and then it eventually led to the Disney
Okay.
stuff, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, which is how I discovered music. Kasi when those
Yun.
two,
Ganda segue. Oh.
they're musicals, diba?
Mm.
So, syempre, I wanted the merch, diba? You want your mga Ariel and your mga bells, diba?
Uh-huh.
So, it was the first time that my lola bought me a cassette tape. So, every time there's a Disney movie, she would
Nice.
right. So, I would go with them to their office at that time. For some reason, their offices always had a bedroom inside. Weird, diba? Now that I think about it, parang tangina, weird dun, ha?
Anong negosyo?
Diba? Kasi na may bedroom sa loob, ha?
Anong negosyo?
Dude, government.
Tapos, bakit sila? Well, honestly, hindi malayo because we own a school and mom also has like a bed somewhere sa back. I think
Is it a generational thing? Like, was it their
so.
generation?
No,
Right?
I think so. Yeah.
Kasi
No,
like, both my lola and my lolo, sabihin ko na kung saan sila nag-work. They're
uh-huh.
both engineers. They both used to be directors for DPWH.
Okay.
Both, magkaiba yung building nila, but both their offices have bedrooms inside.
Galing!
Diba? Weird eh. Parang at that time, syempre hindi ko pa iniisip na weird. Feeling ko lahat ng office may kwarto.
Normal.
Diba?
Hindi ako, I'm telling you, I think it's pretty normal. I mean, like the normal...
Siguro siya, dude. Parang, whenever, they'd always bring me with them to their office eh. So, lagi akong kasama. And then, I'd always stay in the bedroom inside the office. I had the cassette a cassette player.
Mhm.
And so the whole day, I would just listen to the Disney OSTs.
Nice.
And
Ano favorite? Ranking. Top 3.
shit. Beauty and the Beast, number 1.
Number 1 ba? Bilis. Ako din. Agree.
Number 2,
Yun ang memorize
Aladdin.
ko hanggang ngayon. Yun, Beauty. Actually, number 2 is
Ah,
what?
Aladdin.
More Than Little Mermaid?
Yeah. The
Bakit?
Dark Little Mermaid. When I was young, I found it dark.
Kaya nga eh, di ba?
Yup.
So number
Hindi
3
ako
is
matapalit.
hindi ka dark pero sa bagay. Wait.
So,
What's number 3?
yeah.
What's number 3?
Little Mermaid. I never liked Lion King.
Ako
I
din.
didn't
Same
like
here.
animals talaga for some reason until now. But,
Wait. Teka lang, argue ako. Bakit? Because I can name all the tracks of Beauty and the Beast. So yon, given.
oh my God! Seryoso ka ba?
Oo naman. Memorize ko yun from Gaston to ano yung first song ni Belle?
The town,
Little
shit.
Town.
Yeah.
Yan.
Galing mo!
Every day. Shit. On the spot. Pero there's
So,
that.
when the
There's the
when the
Gaston song. The 5 dozen eggs, diba? So, gets ko yun. Aladdin, I can only name Prince Ali and syempre Whole New World. Ano pa?
Hindi ko na
Make
maalala.
way for Prince Ali. Tsaka syempre, I can show you the world. Pero si Little Mermaid, napakadami din nun. Actually, now that I think about it.
Under the Sea. Part of your world.
Under the Sea. Sobrang solid yun. Jamaican pa si Sebastian, di ba? Naisip ko kayo ng bata ka. Parang, bata pa lang ako. Bini-brainwash na ako tungkol sa mga Jamaican na cool sila.
Alam ko, anong na-realize ko? Na-realize ko na bata pa ako, ayoko na ng reggae.
Ayaw mo na reggae?
Like,
Okay.
it's my least favorite genre.
Why?
I mean, yeah, even if people say na, oh, you have to be in the right conditions, you know, to even if I tried to be in the right condition,
wala talaga. Okay. So, okay.
You Little Mermaid.
Pero dark nga siya. I was rewatching it, when was it? Siguro mga 2 years ago. Art is still stellar. Kasi remember, these were the days na hand-drawn yun, dude. You know what I mean? Barely any CGI in that one. Tsaka, the tone was dark. And even, di ba, tinanggalan ng boses and all this shit. Galit sa tatay. I don't know. It was dark. Which is why I liked it.
Alam mo, ito nga iniisip ko, dude. Like, okay, so remember there was a year that Disney came out with, you know, the live action reboots of the classics, right? And I went in there with an open mind because I didn't want to be that, you know, that old
Broke my childhood.
With an open mind. Beauty and the Beast, to be honest, I liked it.
Me too. I liked it. Ni-review pa namin ni Johnson, dalawang mama, nagre-review ng Beauty. Oh, I loved it. Yeah.
I loved it. It was more of, pero inisip ko, gusto ko lang ba siya kasi favorite movie ko siya. And you know, it brought back all the memories, all the songs. They stayed true to the script. Konting-konti lang yung tweaks, fine.
One new song.
Yeah, right? And then I watched Aladdin and I fucking hated it, dude.
Same here, dude. Same here.
Okay, why did you hate it?
I didn't ito, personally, and again, nothing against girl power bullshit. Pero ano ba naman yung naging sultan yung si Jasmine? I'm like, really? I mean, I'm always all for female empowerment and all that. But when it starts to get silly like that, na ayoko yung nagmumukhang tanga yung lalaking bida. Aladdin is just like he's very ancillary to the story. He's not even like the main character. Alam mo yun, parang hindi siya yung main hero. He was just there to focus really on Jasmine, which I didn't really mind. Pero parang, I also don't mind deviations from the source material, but parang, hindi ko trip. Hindi ba ganda yung hulog? Ikaw?
You know, I have very, very strong feelings kasi about female empowerment.
Okay,
And
yeah.
I'm a
Let me hear this. Go.
very strong feelings about it. I am all for female empowerment, but
Me
I feel
too.
like people started this woke movement
Hate that
thing,
word.
right? People started to misinterpret female empowerment as girls are better.
Thank
To be
you.
honest, it's not that eh. Female empowerment means equality. Boys and girls are the same. So once you take the stance, the girls are better, then that's reverse sexism. You're being sexist towards
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you. Okay.
Right?
Uh huh.
I have very strong feelings about that. Which is why parang there was a time that all the movies that were coming out nagpipilit ng angle ng female empowerment.
Hanggang
Na
ngayon. Ngayon yun. Diba?
hanggang ngayon na, before ang dami talaga, Ghostbusters, Oceans,
Ngayon.
ano,
Before last 2 years ago lang yun. Yun nga eh, diba? It's...
I, I have no problem with being, with fighting for equality, but there is a fine line between that and you being a female chauvinist.
Thank
You know,
you. Thank
who do
you.
you do that? You know what I mean? You're being
I
a
love the way you
girl.
put that.
So that's how I felt about pareho tayo. That's how I
Diba?
felt about it. Yeah. Parang the minute that they dropped a new song, yung song ni Jasmine about
Oh! I'm
I
like,
fucking out, man.
what the fuck was that? I don't even remember the name of the song, but it was like something like Unseen or something like it's my turn type bullshit.
Um, something like, oh my god, what was
Uh,
it? Something like you can't stop her from talking.
ay,
Shit.
teka lang, hanapin natin.
For some
Ano?
reason, Frozen yung nasa utak ko. Teka lang.
Dude, yun ang love ko. Yun ang love fave. That year, because John's and I do this movie of the year every year. That year, yun ang movie of the year ko on top of Avengers, on top of, oh dude, feel ko yun. See, that's, well, you can't say, what's the name of the dude with the reindeer? Basta that dude. Hindi naman siya ganun ka-stupid. Tapos si Prince Charming yung bad guy mo. Like, dude, never been
yeah,
done.
yeah.
Wait, gusto
I
ko
mean,
malaman yung Jasmine siya.
you have a strong female lead without her proving too much. You know what I mean? Parang
Yeah.
chill na
Speechless.
strong,
Yun. That stop her from talking.
diba?
Tawa ka.
Dude, I also loved Frozen 2, ah. Like, I really had my hesitations about it. Na parang, should I watch it? And every time that it's a sequel, parang, why? Why did you make a sequel?
Uh-huh.
But then I watched it and I'm like, holy shit.
Okay lang.
Oh,
Hindi kasing solid no una. Pero,
pero not bad.
not bad, not bad, not bad. I watched it. Cinema pa yun, syempre.
Yeah. So yeah. Did you like Tangled?
Which one? Oo naman. See,
Right.
that was in the era of not, because those were like just female characters. You get what I mean? Na they have their weaknesses. They're not the perfect, alam mo yun, be like me type shit. They're flawed. You know what I mean? Because she was
Yeah.
selfish, di ba? Ayaw niya to pa rin, kaya she cut her bubaba, whatever. Solid. I love Tanko too. See, you know what I mean? Tapos ngayon, we're moving into the Jasmine era rather, of fucking, I'll be better than you, man. That's what I feel. That's me as a dude. I would watch it anyway. You know what I mean? I love Little Mermaid. I love these are all female led, blah blah, and now it's first female superhero, dude. 90s pa lang may Lara Croft na eh. You know what I mean?
Oh, tsaka honestly, parang, okay, balik tayo sa Aladdin.
Go.
For me, what made the movie not work is they were pushing too much modern ideals on the characters that the characters aren't supposed to be that way. And for me, there is nothing wrong with, sige, adjusting your storyline para mas relatable sa generation now, sure, diba?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if you try too much to adjust it to the culture that you think is accepted now, then hindi ka na kasi para before trailblazers sila eh. Sila yung nag-mold ng culture, sila yung nag-mold ng, diba? You know what I mean, right?
Yes.
Now, ano pa yung power mo? Diba? Wala.
Mm-hmm.
Parang nag-e-echo ka lang kung anong gusto marinig ng mga tao. That did not sit right.
Ako, I use this word that against that, pandering. You know what I mean?
Pandering, yes.
Diba? That's what it is. Eh. You're pandering. You're giving the people what you think they should know or what you think their mindset should be. Diba? The boys are not better than the girls, just as how the girls are not better than the boys. We're in a level
Correct.
playing field, whatever. Kasi siguro, I think it also stems from our being Pinoy. More, kasi I think
Mm.
in the States it's more exaggerated, the differences when it comes to,
Kasi very strong ano tayo, maternal, very
yes.
strong culture tayo.
Right,
Maybe.
right, diba? Isn't it? I think it's that. Eh. Kasi, diba, we've had how many women presidents, diba? The US
Correct.
they haven't even seen that. So
Correct.
that's one of the things. Because I've been dismantling this in my head for a long time now. Why is it that female characters now suck? Like Captain Marvel, it was an okay movie, but merong konting, I'm better than you. Fuck that shit. You don't have to be better than me to like you or for you to be stronger.
I know, it's like, man, all these like female characters are so annoying now. So much to prove. You know what I mean? Like
Yes. Just
before
be
you know it,
you.
they're driving sports cars, diba?
Meron na, hello, Charlize, gano'n na nga eh. Palagi nang gano'n. Like Charlize Theron, as much as I used to love her, I realized that all her roles now are just like that. There's this new
Ang weird,
one.
no? Parang siya yung new Angelina bigla.
Hindi, pero si
That's
Angelina was just Angelina. You know, di ba? It never was, she just kicked ass, di ba? Ano ba mga, syempre, Tomb Raider, ano pa ba mga solo niya? Gone in 60. What was the other one?
Mrs. Smith.
Yon, di ba? That wasn't even, uh, Maleficent, I like. The first one. The second one was just, and na
I
naman,
didn't like.
di ba? Parang female empowerment bullshit na naman tayo.
Yun yung fear ko sa Frozen 2. You know what I mean? Baka maging parang ano lang yan. Basically, okay, so kumita ka box office, so pandering. Like the term we use. Baka
Uh,
pandering.
it was
Buti na lang.
borderline for me. Hindi siya super pandering. I can't remember honestly which specific parts I didn't like, but I remember not loving it as kasi the first one, isa pa yun, memorize ko din. May soundtrack ako nun sa I Touch. Ganun ko kalab yun. Talaga. Do you wanna build a snowman? The first time I saw that, umiiyak talaga ako. Because it came at a time
You know,
when
I'm actually surprised. I'm surprised that you're telling me this now. I never thought that you're that you're a Disney babe.
Disney, dude, lahat kami. Kahit na gaano kami kamital, kaming dalawa ni Johns specifically. Because Johns, you know Johns, right? Our bassist, Johns.
Yes,
Yun.
of course.
We started this show and we would review every freaking Disney movie pag sasawa na kami sa Marvel. Disney, wala kami pake. Even as metalheads, it's like the extreme sensitivity, quote unquote, sensitivity of the Disney flicks plus itim. Boom, that's our sound. You get what I mean?
But dude, that's what makes you that's what makes you truly metal, right?
Right?
Like,
Exactly, di ba? Wala kami pake. O, sino support? Papalag kayo, gusto kilig ko Disney. Di ba? Wala akong pake. Trip ko eh.
ano sabi mo tungkol sa Beauty and the Beast? Suntungan tayo.
Ganun talaga, di ba? Also, from listening to the Disney soundtracks in your lolo and lola's sleeping quarters, ano ang next steps? So, music.
So music. That was our introduction to music. After that, I think I discovered novels. So I
Gusto
books.
ko marinig.
My very first novel, I remember, and I can't forget it. It was Christopher Pike, Last Vampire. Are you familiar with Christopher Pike?
No, wait. Share screen natin.
Okay.
Okay. Sige,
So Christopher Pike,
Spell?
parang same. Sorry,
Spell?
Christopher Pike, Pike.
Okay.
So si Christopher Pike, parang ano yan? Parang
Pike.
Pike.
Okay.
Ka-genre yan ni R.L. Stein. So, more horror, more thriller, like that. Which is weird because I'm a scaredy cat. So I don't know why I started reading all these horror novels. But yeah, so that was my introduction to novels. Christopher Pike, R.L. Stein, the Goosebumps series, you know. I love these books. And then I also discovered, of course, Sweet Valley Twins. I mean, sino bang hindi dumaan sa Sweet Valley, diba?
That was the thing. Well, girls thing.
Diba? For most girls, parang everyone.
For sure.
Yeah, Sweet Valley Twins. After Sweet Valley Twins, I was such a fan. I think I had all their books. I'm not even kidding. Like,
Wow. See, I knew it. See, I knew you were a well-read person. Diba? I'm sure. Tama naman yung judgment ko ah.
right? Sige na ka. O, sige na ka.
Oh, tapos.
But yeah, Sweet Valley was, dude, every week pupunta akong
National.
Goodwill.
Right.
Diba?
Good.
Checking the next issue pag kung lumabas na ganyan. And I love the smell. I love the smell of new books.
The smell of the pages, di ba?
Bango, diba? And then after Sweet Valley, I was introduced to my dad's collection of Hardy Boys and my tita's
Hardy Boys, pati Hardy Boys.
Yeah. So I read both Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew. And then in my head, because at the time I would read it alternately because I would compare like how they would write for girls and how they would write for boys.
Nice.
Yeah, and then after Hardy Boys, it became Choose Your Own Adventure. I was so into Choose Your Own.
I love those books. I love those books.
Super loved it, right?
Diba? Ano yung mga title nun? It's always... Wait. What are
may formula siya eh.
Meron ba? What if you were? Di ba? Parang ganun ba?
Yeah. Wait lang.
Hanapin natin. Sige, ito na. Choose Your Own. Meron naalala ko to may mga nights eh. Meron pa yun. Favorite ko yun. Your Own Adventure. There's something about nights and shit.
Yeah.
Damn. Masyadong madami yan. Yeah, I remember.
Bakit lahat ng mga ginagawa ng Netflix ngayon based on Choose Your Own Adventure yan?
Si Bandersnatch, di ba?
Bandersnatch. Also, they have, are you familiar with the series Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
I have not seen it, but I've heard of it.
So there's a movie now that Netflix produced. They just released it over the weekend, I think. Mm-hmm. And it's the same idea as Bandersnatch. So you also choose. Para siyang Minecraft. May Minecraft din na movie, di ba? Para siyang ganon. Choose your own, whatever.
So I was like... bata na yun ba't alam mo yun?
It depends on my level of mental load for the week. Pag mabigat na, hindi ko na kaya manood na intelligent, tama na.
Pang-brainless naman.
After Choose Your Own Adventure, I started... What's so funny about Choose Your Own Adventure was I would borrow from my boy classmates kasi parang walang girls na nagbabasa. So, nakihiram ako sa mga boy classmates ko. Yun. Kasi ayaw ako bilan. Kasi parang, binibilan na ako ng Sweet Valley, papabili ka ba Choose Your Own Adventure?
Naalala mo ba, Choose Your Own Adventure, 50 pesos?
Yes!
Sa National. Kaya diba? So yung tira mong baon, pwede ka mag-choose your own.
Oo. Like, I remember though, Sweet Valley Twins was 54 pesos. I remember 54. Kasi I remember parang, bata pa lang ako, binibigyan na ako ng budget, so I learned how to budget.
Of course.
You know what I mean? I want to buy a book. I'm like, oh shit, okay, so they only gave me, let's say, 200 pesos for this month. And if I buy one Sweet Valley, shit, I can buy 3. So, diba? May book budget na.
Pero ito, aminin mo sa Choose Your Own Adventure. May mga times na, diba, if you choose to ganyan, turn to page ganyan, diba? May mga times na sisilipin mo kung end na muna. Bago ka tumuloy. Diba? Because you could die and then the book ends, right? So, ending na ba? Pero ito talaga, pero hindi mamamatay. Balik tayo. I used to do that a lot too. Parang, ayoko mamatay.
Yeah, me too. You know, if you think about it, baka Choose Your Own Adventure yung nagturo sa atin ng cheating. Easy out pala eh.
Diba? Silipin mo. Tama ka nga, diba? Choose Your Own Adventure, that's the same concept that they fucking use on Netflix now. Which, I like the format. I mean, diba? It's something you can revisit, pero, man. Anyway, tapos, Sweet Valley.
Okay, so Sweet Valley, Choose Your Own Adventure. After that, I started reading hard novels. Kasi parang my dad and my mom, they're both avid readers. Like, I come from a family of avid readers, so, good. But a lot of fiction. So, I started reading their books, whatever's in the house. Like, everything from Tom Clancy
No.
to
Favorite ni Dad.
John Grisham, to
What's the other
Daniel
one?
Steele.
What's
What?
after?
Sorry,
What's after Tom Clancy?
John Grisham. Mga The First.
Ayun, binasa ko rin yun. Time to
Ayan.
Kill.
Robert Ludlum.
Robert Ludlum.
Yeah, so
Robert
I
Ludlum
started.
is, don't tell me, Born. Tama?
Yes,
Born.
Born series, correct.
Yeah.
Agatha Christie, which because I've always liked the medyo, diba? Parang medyo dark,
Medyo macabre.
mystery one. So Agatha Christie, I would also read. And then I eventually naturally evolved into a big Neil Gaiman fan.
Yan ang sabi ko na ba. Okay.
So,
Anne Rice, parang skinip mo si Anne Rice. Hindi ka nag-Anne Rice?
Nag-try ako mga 2 or 3 Anne Rice, but I don't like kasi gore. Medyo erotic gore si
I was
Anne
about to
Rice.
say that. Medyo erotic, sobrang erotic na. For me, it was too, it felt like, I tried, because Gabby, Mark's sister, is super into Anne Rice. Medyo parang girly point
Gabby
of view of, Gabby, oo, kompleto na yun. So, okay, parang, I'm like, sinubukan ko, she'd have that shit lying in their house. So, I think I read one. I'm like, this is too girly, parang, it's girly, erotic, sadistic. Parang gano'n. Yun yung, or not, gory, rather. Not suggestive.
I think that's what I realized. I don't like vampire stories talaga. Even mga True Blood, I never got into it. Yeah, thank you, Anne Rice, for making me realize my taste in film and in books. So
Gaiman. Gusto ko mag-focus kay Gaiman.
Gaiman.
What was your first Gaiman book?
Okay, so funny. My first Gaiman book, I borrowed from an ex-boyfriend, right? This kilala mo.
Simula ba to? Talaga? Oo. Wait, pause muna. Alam mo ba na Neil Gaiman said that his books are like STD? Kasi kumakalat siya through, ganyan, magaling sa boyfriend or sa girlfriend, yun ang kukunin. Anyway, sorry.
So, talaga? I didn't know that. That's so interesting.
Totoo naman, di ba?
Yeah, exactly, right? So I was like, okay. So that ex-boyfriend was a literature professor. So he read a lot. And then he was like, oh, check this out. Neverwhere. It was Neverwhere. That was the first one. He really liked it because obviously, diba, it's one of Gaiman's parang breakout books naman for people who are just discovering Gaiman. And then after that, I read American Gods. And then after American Gods, I was like, sige, let's try something. How does he write if it's light? So I tried Stardust because Stardust is lighter compared to. And then after Stardust, after those 3 books, I'm like, okay, that's it. I love Gaiman so much.
Diba? Galing.
I tried to get into Sandman. I tried.
I was gonna get to that. Ako yun ang intro ko. But
I'm familiar with Sandman, but I never got into it as much as the novels. What I did actually was, dude, I have a hard time kasi reading graphic novels.
Why? Ayaw mo ng picture?
No, I like pictures, but sobrang ADHD ko, hindi ko siya ma-follow. Gets mo ba? Parang nag-jump ako sa picture.
Kumbaga hindi ka makafocus sa words, nagpo-focus ka sa art?
Okay. I literally have a hard time reading graphic novels because I get so distracted. I realize consumption for me, written talaga. That's how I consume things better.
Okay.
So what's funny is for me to be familiar with the Sandman world, I bought a novel without photos.
What? May ganun ba?
Meron. Nakapal.
Hanapin natin. Talaga?
So and then that's how I discovered the characters. I love Delirium. She's my favorite character.
Ayaw mo si Death? Death.
Gusto ko si Death after a while na. No rockers na ako.
Rockers ka na. Sandman novel? May novel pala to? Kasi ako naman, I'm an artist, so I look at the art. The drawings drive me crazy.
The Book of Dreams. Wait, ito ba?
Ito? Yan? Hindi eh.
Yes. Ay, di ba? Hindi, graphic novel. Basta meron siya.
Talaga. Well, at least for people like you who can't handle the art.
But what's funny is, I started getting into the manga version. May manga version si Sandman. Eh. It
Talaga?
was easy to digest the manga version.
Wait, ba't si manga kaya mo, si graphic novel di mo kaya?
Alam. Hindi ko alam.
Pareho lang
Maybe
naman yun. Di ba?
I only had one Sandman, the graphic novel, which is The World's End. I had The World's End. I liked it, but I was bitten. Manipis lang yung World's End eh. Alam mo, parang nabibitan na ako sa kanya. So, yan. Yan lang yung graphic novel na Sandman.
Dream to. Dream pa rin to.
Oo.
Okay.
So, yeah. After that, ano ba? Wala eh. Parang naging parang na-stuck ako kay Gaiman eh. I tried to do the whole mga Murakami. I tried to do that was the other one. Fuck. I don't even remember but I just kept going back to Gaiman and listing sa mga fully booked kapag may, di ba meron silang they'll text pag may bagong novel.
Sorry, ano tayo sa American Gods? Did you get to see the show?
Yes, and okay. This is what's sad. Oo, parang I feel like all the attempts to do Gaiman shows, mga Gaiman series and movies, never come close to the books talaga.
You never come close to the books with anything, I think. That's another theory I have.
Ready Player One, for me, came a little close to the book.
I haven't even seen the movie yet. So,
but you've read the book?
No, not the book.
Oh
Talaga?
Parang,
here's my feeling. Here's my feeling about it. Parang, this is everything you like in one movie, so you can't not like it. Parang ganun yung feeling ko.
Okay. Sige.
Contra. Go.
I would understand why people would feel that way about it because it's really fan service to 80s kids. It's really that. So everything you loved about the 80s, if you were a geek growing up in the 80s, for sure you'll like the book. Hindi pa, kasi sa sobrang dami ng pop culture references ng 80s. How could you not like it?
Exactly, that's the thing, So just because of that, for me, it's like, alam mo yun, you know what I mean? It's like,
right.
Instead of being me liking the story, it's like everything you like, so you can't not like it. Yun ang feeling ko.
Yeah. Okay, so what I liked about it was, I read kasi the book. I'm gonna sound like such a fucking hipster, but I read the book mga 2 years or 3 years before the movie came out. Before there were even plans of having a movie. When I read it, I had no expectations. But what I liked about it was, that's true, you're right. Like, I got attracted to the, Back to the Future reference.
DeLorean, Chun-Li, Ryu.
Correct. But, the storyline kasi in itself, the world that it created was so cool. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't even about, parang secondary na lang, parang Easter eggs na lang yung pop culture references.
Yep.
Naka-create siya ng world na medyo amazing, na loosely based lang on the pop culture stuff.
Okay.
So, I would give it a chance if I were
you. Okay. Promise. I'll watch it. You're not the first person to convince me, pero you convinced me, I will watch it. But
try to read it. Try to read it first. I'm not the type of person that books are you should read it before you watch it. I'm not. Like, there are stuff that I've watched and not read, but I feel like you would appreciate the movie more if you read the book.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's always. Sige, aside from Ready Player One, kasi here's my theory. When you read something, you're the director, you're the actor in your head. So no actor or director can beat what you've read. You know what I mean? Especially if they're just words. Diba?
Right.
Like, going back to John Grisham. Diba? Lahat ng, when you read A Time to Kill compared to the movie, parang ang daming details na mamimiss mo. Like, have you read A Time to Kill? John?
Yes, I have.
Oh, yun, di ba? You remember how graphic the the rape was? Di ba na parang her parang her hips were broken. When you read this, you're like, aray, di ba? But in the movie, not that I want to see that, but it's like when you read it in the book, it's so much more painful. It's so much more visceral compared to ito parang implied na lang di ba? It's not that I want to see it, but the gravity of how far you could go in a novel versus graphically in a movie, di ba? There's only so much you can do in 2 hours pa, di ba?
Gets kita. Parang are you familiar with The Lovely Bones?
No, ano yun?
So it used to be a book about a young girl who was raped and murdered. So she's making kwento the story from her being dead. She's basically a dead girl telling the story of how she got abducted, how she got raped and tortured, and na sobrang disturbing kasi parang sobrang bata pa niya. Basta super young, parang ganyan. Tapos dun sa book, super descriptive, di ba?
Of course.
Yung ginagawa sa kanya, nung abductor niya, di ba? Dun sa movie, sure, mabigat pa rin, nakakaiyak pa rin, pero syempre, they won't show the grotesque scenes, So I get it. But, okay, the difference kasi with Ready Player One is, since it's so sci-fi, kaya nila i-CG eh.
Yun ang tanong ko. Isa kong tanong. So, okay, it's descriptive in the book. Does the movie and Steven Spielberg's genius beat what you've created in your head?
I would say quits lang.
Quits lang. That's good enough, diba? That's good enough.
Kasi meron akong mga na-imagine that they develop better. Does that make sense? So parang, holy shit, it could be much better pala than what I imagined, The only thing that was kind of disappointing for me is the same thing that we will find disappointing in any novel-turned movie, which is the characters. Kasi like you said kanina, in your head, parang may picture ka na kung ano itsura nila.
Exactly.
Kung ano dapat. Diba? So when the actors come in, it's really not always exactly what you've pictured, of course.
Exactly. Diba? And even if you know it coming in, when they do it, parang in some way, kumbaga, when you picture it in your head, it's the best it can be. Diba? So even if they give their best, parang, okay. I like it better in my head.
Okay. Meron to isang, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but I'll try to make it as vague as possible. There was one character that in the book, sobrang pangit niya. So na-imagine mo talaga, pangit niya, di ba? Pagdating sa,
Di naman siya pangit eh.
Parang maganda pa rin siya eh. Diba? It's like, paano siya naging pangit? And girl.
I get it.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah, exactly my point. Diba? When you read pangit, diba, you have a vision of pangit. Tapos pag nakita mo, actor na, diba, nakita ko to sa isang palabas, parang hindi siya pangit enough. You know what I don't. But I get it. I'll watch it though. I'll watch it. I shall.
You should. Try to find the book too.
Sige. Manga, sabi mo, at saka anime. Pero saan pumasok yun sa buhay mo? Anime and manga.
Not a super manga fan. Maybe Sandman is the only manga that I read. But I am an anime fan. I think anime, syempre yung bata pa tayo, parang exposed ka naman siya kahit ano mangyari. Kasi diba yung mga Tagalog na anime, mga Dragon Ball, diba? So sure, I'd watch them. But I never got into it until I discovered the mga subbed na animes. Ayoko ng mga dubbed eh. Kasi parang...
you're one of those?
Diba? So parang... but I really got into it when I started discovering animes na subtitles lang. Kasi doon talaga, when they're talking in Japanese, and you know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah, of course. The intonation is there.
Correct. So...
yung mga ganun ko, that, diba? Pag tinranslate mo to English, I will kill you. But it doesn't have the same gravitas.
Exactly. That's the word. Gravitas is the word. But I got into it super late na. Like anime, I probably started watching maybe 5 years ago lang.
Okay.
It was because of my husband. Because like, my husband is such a geek. Sabi ko nga sa kanya, dapat ate ko daling nag-guest kay pa-ele. Kasi parang madami ko
Game! May
isa.
next time. May next time pa naman.
He's such a geek, right? He's a
Okay.
big like geek. He likes video games, he likes anime, the usual. And then parang he was trying to get me to watch this one anime, and I was like, yeah, parang in my head, anime is like Dragon Ball Z. So he started introducing different genres of anime to me. So nag-start siya with Slice of Life, and I'm like, oh,
alam yun ah.
I don't mind this, It's like, okay, Slice of Life, not bad. And then she started introducing romance animes to me, like
Sige nga. Ano to? Slice of Life?
Slice of Life. That's a genre, right? So it's basically about, everyday life.
So this is a genre of anime. Gusto ko, natututo ko eh.
So after Slice of Life, I got introduced to shoujo anime, which is basically parang targeted for young girls.
Shoujo, wrong spelling pa ako. Okay.
So mga sweet romance, ganyan. That was how I started getting into anime. And then after that, parang I started watching a lot of fantasy, you know what I mean? Mga magic, even shonen. I started watching shonen anime, mga Food Wars, mga ganyan.
Okay.
So
sa Magic, ano yung specific na napanood mo?
Shit, ang dami. My favorite one is called The Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai.
Haba? Ano yun? Ulit? Ano?
The Rascal Does Not Dream.
Ayun, does not dream. Meron nga.
Bunny.
Ano kwento nito?
That's quite new. Siguro mga 2 years ago lang yan. It was a fall anime. So yeah,
like
ano
art.
siya?
I mean, ano kwento?
Basically, parang yung girl, invisible siya to everyone else but him.
Parang Snuffleupagus.
Parang the girl exists in real life, but she's this like super sikat na actress.
Okay.
Pero in real life, when she's not playing her role, parang people don't see her. He's the only one who sees her. That's why she goes around in the bunny girl outfit. Kasi she tries to see if people can notice her, but nobody can see her. Okay. So parang, yeah. I don't want to spoil it. I want you to watch it.
Okay. That's why I asked you. That's one of the things I love about doing this. I get to learn stuff like this.
It's really...
Ilan seasons yan?
I've been watching and rewatching Fruits Basket. That's available on Netflix kasi now. So I started watching it. It's a reboot of an older Fruits Basket, but this one, fantasy rin siya. Alam mo, doon ko na-realize na yun yung genre na favorite ko. With anything, with novels, with anime, with even good K-drama, I like fantasy.
Hold that thought. Pupunta tayo dyan.
Yan. So yun.
Fantasy.
Yeah, so okay. There. I'm a 5-year-old anime fan. Kung kailan ng 30s eh.
Hindi, pero kasi what I learned, have you been to Japan?
Yep. A lot. So every year, ever since I got together with my husband, Briggs, yung first date namin, first out of country date was Summer Sonic. We went to the festival in Osaka. That was 2014. Because we had so much fun that every year, we made it a point to go to Japan. So may annual Japan trip kami. Mm-hmm. Except for this year, obviously.
Oh, ay nako. That breaks my heart. Kailan ang Summer Sonic? Kailan kayo?
Summer there, so August. Actually, nakakatawa kasi tinitignan ko mga Facebook memories ko. Today, like 6 years ago, it was in Summer Sonic.
Oh, shit. Pero I love Osaka. Osaka's my jam, dude.
Pero dude, alam mo, mas Tokyo ako.
Ano, no?
Tokyo ako.
I haven't been. Yun, hindi ko pa napupunta. Palagi kami. I know.
You need to go. Oh my gosh. Oh. You know, I've been to Osaka before Tokyo, right? Mm-hmm. My first time was Osaka. I loved it so much. When I went back, we decided to try Tokyo. I've never gone back to Osaka. So like the 5 trips back to Japan, Tokyo lahat.
Bakit? I mean, I get that
Because
it's Manila, Cebu, pero
okay,
ikaw personally, bakit?
Osaka kasi, you can stay there for maybe 4 days and you're fine. Why? Because it's small. It's you're there for the food. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
And the
Uh,
toys.
yeah, right.
Uh-huh.
So okay, in Tokyo though, there's so much to do that we always spend 8 days there. And in
Wow,
that eight
sarap.
days, hindi pa namin natatapos gawin yung mga gusto namin gawin. Because look, you have Akihabara,
Of
your
course.
electric town,
Toys. Uh-huh.
all the geeks, right?
I
My
know, yep.
husband, right?
Shit, so
So
sorry,
we
pag nandun siya, yeah, ang daming... I'm sure.
Asan po siya, pati mga game and watch na mga bookends, pinapatulan niya. Ganyan. But then,
Galing.
so there. So you have that geek town, the electric town, and then
Mhm.
ang favorite ko yung mga may cities, may city ka called Daikanyama, which is the quaint, medyo hipster city siya kasi you have all the good cafes, the good restaurants, and the cute bars there.
Uh-huh.
Uh, you have Cat Street, which is very near Harajuku.
What's
Na
Cat
all
Street?
Cat Street, all of your street stuff are there, and then all of the best gyoza is there, Luke's Lobsters. There's just so much to do. There's so much to do in Tokyo. So that's why we never went back to Osaka. Though I would say Osaka has better food, hands down.
Okay.
Better
At
food in
least.
Osaka.
I
I
can't
mean,
really
wala
compare.
kang
Pero...
pupuntahan sa Tokyo na talo. I mean, diba? Sa buong Japan naman.
Or is it kasi when we travel, especially with my older folks, meron ba, kasi ang feeling ko sa Tokyo mas for the younger age, you know what I mean? Pag barkada trip, mas
Alam
solid.
mo, baka, unless, okay, madami rin sa Tokyo for older folks, but you might need to rent a van. Because it's a lot of train rides, it's a lot of walking. So baka kailangan meron kang tour van. Baka better kung naka-tour siya.
Well, sa Osaka, naka-tour van din kami. Mga Pinoy nga mga driver namin dun.
May fun.
Oo, Pinoy. May konta kami Pinoy. Mga tipong rockstar na nag-gig sa Osaka at hindi na umalis na in love na sa Hapones. Ganon. Yun ang life story nila. Galing.
Sa Tokyo is for older people maybe. You have a lot naman of palaces. The Imperial Palace is there.
Ayun, yun din. Kaya nga, that's one of the things I would say.
Oh, they will love Tsukiji though, the market. Kasi it's fresh seafood. It's basically a wet market talaga with really good food. I think there's something.
Dotonbori ng Osaka. Diba? Dotonbori is where all the... Yun ang pagkain.
That's the best Dotonbori, man.
Sarap, nakakamiss. That's one of the things I will miss this year. Kasi kami naman, we usually... Well, for the past 2 years at least, we went siguro October. Kaya malamig. Yung tipong pwede ka na mag-jacket.
It's the best time to go. We always go October, November. Pag fall, diba? Maganda yung colors, malamig.
Buhay. Malamig. Ako, gusto ko malamig.
Best time to go yan. I think also, it's great that I discovered anime before we started going to Japan. Because
before. Kasi that's why I asked.
Yeah. Kasi it made me appreciate Japan more. And it also makes me appreciate the anime that I'm watching more. Kasi if it's slice of life, na parang true to life siya, diba? Kunyari, yung mga movies on Netflix now, Weathering with You, or ano ba isa, Your Name. They draw parang actual Tokyo spots.
Yes.
That place, diba?
I can relate. Yes. Same here.
So,
back before and after leaving, kunyari, I know that we're leaving around October and I'm excited. I would watch an anime one before leaving. And when I get there, kasi syempre ako, like your husband, I'm sure, iikot sa lahat ng, ay mga anime and manga stores, iikuti ko kung ano mukhang cool, kahit hindi ko naiintindihan, bibilin ko lang, alam mo, just to, like for example, the gashapon shit, like this one, I would buy this. Yung mga sa mga machines, I'm like, yeah, sexy, bili. It's just like, it for me, I love it. The art just blows my mind. That's why I asked. Kaya din siguro, it becomes more of a, watching anime becomes more of a personal experience, especially if you've been there.
Meron nga ako, lahat ng notebooks namin, lahat ng ballpen namin dito sa bahay, One Piece.
Tsaka isa pa yan, with their fandom, you'd see people on trains reading, di ba? Na talagang, it's a big industry talaga na amazing,
All,
amazing. Di ba? It's part of their culture to read that shit.
yeah, and all your cosplayers, it's so normal to see people in schoolgirl or like maid outfits in the train. You know what I mean? So
Exactly. Na may
it's
mga
like,
espada-espadang plastic. Ikaw yung, did I miss something? Is it tawag ito, Halloween? Is it trick or treat already?
I haven't tried it, but maybe when the time comes that we're lucky enough that we can travel again, and if you do go to Tokyo, try to go down on Halloween. I've never been there, but apparently super crazy yung mga
Oh,
Halloween
I've
sa
been
Japan.
there. We were there one Halloween. Kasi nga October kami. October to November kami usually. Kasi yun yung may break
Oh
eh.
my gosh! Did you
So,
party? Did you party in
ako,
Halloween?
oo, syempre. Pag,
Saya naman.
gulo. Nakakatakot ang konti kasi especially the other peeps are like married and shit. So, ang nangyayari, tawag ito, ako lang isa lumalabas paggabi. So, medyo, paano ako uuwi? Medyo lasing, alam mo yun, medyo kabado na ako. Kinakabahan ako. Pero I would, gulo.
Pero,
Oo.
diba, ang great sa Japan is, like, as early as 7 p.m., you see people passed out on the streets. As in,
Oo.
literally, nga sila sa streets. Tapos, hindi sila nananakawan, hindi sila...
Wala. One of the things that struck me there is the honesty of the people. Na tipong kaya mong iwan gamit mo dyan, ayos lang.
Yeah.
Diba?
Oh,
Walang,
I have a story. I have a short story about that.
go.
So we went to Tokyo, right? Around maybe maka 2015 siguro.
Aha.
And then my husband left his... Okay, so let's say we arrived on a Wednesday, right? The
Aha.
next day, the Thursday, na-realize na, shit, nasa yung laptop bag ko.
Oh, shit.
I was like, holy shit, nasa yung laptop bag mo? So we tried to retrace our steps. Ano nangyari? Saan tayo pumunta? And then na-realize namin, naiwan niya sa cabin ng train ng Narita Express from airport to Shibuya. Okay?
Oh,
That's a 1 hour
I
fucking
know.
long.
Yeah.
So we're like, shit. So what we did was we went to the concierge of the hotel we were staying in, and we were like, could you guys call the JR station, and ask if whatever, our flight was this time, the train was whatever, around this time.
Uh-huh.
Dude, tumawag yung concierge, and they were like, oh, they found your bag. You can claim it in one day, overnight. Overnight
Wait,
siya.
paano na-claim? Paano? Dinala sa hotel?
He had to go to a JR station somewhere. They just brought it to some station near us. Dinala pa nila. So when they got it, ito yung pinaka-funny. So check niya yung bag niya. They asked him to check it kung may nawawala or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Pag-check niya, oh my God, Pael, inayos pa nila yung mga wire ng charger. Hindi maliit yung bag niya.
Ang galing!
That's solid talaga.
And one of the things I also love seeing in the mornings, especially like ako, gumigimik nga ako doon mag-isa. Yung mga matatanda, they pick up yung mga upos ng Yossi. As in, they're the ones cleaning the streets in the morning. I'm like, damn, that's love, dude.
I think it's a program, Pael. Program for the senior citizens. I think Japan has that talaga.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's what I heard. Plus, ang sabi nila, kasi nga may mga Pinoy kami na guide doon, sabi nila, gusto yun ng mga matatanda. Kasi one, it gives them something to do. And two, parang they love the city that much that they keep it clean. So the next day, I don't know. Sana may makuha tayong ganong klaseng mga traits as Pinoys.
It's so funny pa, even in Summer Sonic, kasi maayos yung trash system nila eh. So, every few meters, may trash ka na parang biodegradable, non-biodegradable, whatever, diba? Naka-sort out siyang ganyan. May isang tao okay, so let's say tatlo yan. Biodegradable, non-biodegradable, whatever. May tatlong tao na nakatayo, assigned sila dun, nakunin sa'yo yung basura mo. And then they're so happy. It's like, nakita. I was like, these are the happiest, like, garbage collectors I've ever met. Like, you're so happy getting your trash, diba? So it's like, solid. Grabe.
Balik tayo sa So, anime, and then transitioning into your love to music, and which eventually leads you to NU.
Okay,
So
sige.
sa high school na tayo, diba? So Sweet Valley, anime recent. Okay.
I would say music siguro mga grades 5 or no, grade 4. I discovered music around grade 4. So when I was younger, so Disney soundtracks, right? So I started to love music. I started to listen to a lot of music. I would even listen to my parents' music or my tita's music and my grandparents' music.
Which was
Yeah, so my dad was a big well he had Kiss, of course, he had Led Zepp, sure, but he's a big jazz head. Mas jazz yung dad ko. So a
nice,
lot of
intelligent.
blues.
Mhm.
So I listened to a lot of jazz. My mom was very pop, very swing out sister, Wilson Phillips. So
Oh shit.
listen to that, right?
Bata ng parents mo, ha?
Yeah, they're super young. They had me
Wilson
when they were like
Phillips.
17, 18, so they're super young. And then my titas, kasi we all lived in one house with my dad's siblings and his parents.
Mhm.
My titas at that time were into Mike Francis, Madonna, Immaculate Conception,
Yeah.
Cotton Oats, right? So I would listen to that.
Oats.
Yeah. Tears for Fears, super big influence on me, Tears for Fears. As in, memorize ko yung buong album niya. Hindi realize ko lang na nag-concert sila dito. I was like, holy shit, memorize ko yung buong album. So anyway, my grandparents also, I'm super influenced by their music. I super love Sinatra. Until now, Sinatra is one of my top artists. My lolo is such a big fan. Like, as in, he flies abroad to watch concerts, ganyan.
Wow.
Tapos parang, nasa music room at home, right? Na, usual music room na, alam mo yung padded. Oo, ganyan. So, nakaplaka, padded yung walls, andun lahat ng, niya, puro Sinatra yan. So the whole day at home, from the minute you wake up to the minute you sleep, Sinatra's blasting in the whole house. So when you eat, it's there. So I'm really in love with Sinatra. So I think younger pa lang, really young, like 3, 4 years old, 5 years old, I've really been super exposed to their music. I started finding
Tapos
my own...
Tapos Pasko, Jackson 5.
Ako never ako na-expose sa Jackson 5.
Anong Pasko nyo?
Wala Jackson 5 sa bahay.
Anong Pasko? Anong sounds ng Pasko?
Sinatra na rin.
Sinatra, may Let It Snow nga.
Naubusan ng kanta.
Aba.
Ang dami talaga.
Aba. Walang Aba? Aba.
Wala rin.
Walang Aba? Shit, mas bata talaga pamilya mo. Anyway,
Wala rin Beatles.
I was waiting for that too. Beatles.
So I'm not the Beatles. I'm actually not. I can't say I'm a Beatles fan because I didn't grow up listening to the Beatles. Maybe Kiss, yun pa. Meron pang, kanino album si Cat Scratch Fever? Ted Nugget.
Cat Scratch Fever.
So, I started finding my identity with music, I think around grade 4. Napabarkada ako sa mga mas matatanda. So, mga first year high school or grade 6 yung mga friends ko.
Hilig mo sa matanda.
What?
Hilig mo sa matanda. Sabi ko, hilig mo sa matanda. The most smart girls do. Don't worry.
I'm like, nago ka. Bata pa ako na yung mga yun.
Grade 4 tapos high school, layo na nun. Well,
but
then, ladies are always smarter. Diba? You guys are always more mature for our age.
I think I just had no choice because they were our neighbors. At parang wala akong ka-age sa neighborhood. They're all like a bit older.
Okay.
So, they started introducing me to Nirvana, Candlebox, Pearl Jam, etc.
Of course.
But my most favorite, syempre, was Nirvana. As in, I was so in love. In Utero pa yung unang album na on cassette, I remember.
Of course.
My friend gave me in Utero. And I think I got in trouble pa with my mom. Kasi parang, why are you listening to this? You're 10 years old, you know.
Pero Led Zepp pwede. Pero Led Zepp pwede.
Diba? Nakakabalis.
Pareho lang yun eh.
Ay, nako.
Diba?
So,
parang yun.
Correct. After in Utero, I got myself, finally, pinayagan nila ako. So, I started buying cassette tapes na Nevermind. My first cassette tape na after Nirvana was Nevermind. And then, Bleach. And then, basta tuloy-tuloy na. And then,
lahat ng album nila.
Correct. Incesticide, di ba?
Ba't parang wala akong naririnig na Pearl Jam? Pearl Jam? Wala?
I never got into Pearl Jam.
What? Why? What's wrong?
I
What's
only
wrong?
know, there's always an eternal debate, right? Between Nirvana.
Yeah.
Nirvana versus Pearl Jam. Which team are you in? I'm really super team
Ako
Nirvana.
naman, super team Pearl Jam ako.
Wait, not to say that I don't appreciate their music.
No, I
Okay?
get it, I get it, I get it. Doon,
I
hindi na
like
tayo
the
bata na hindi tayo friends pag hindi mo gusto Pearl Jam. Kung bata, ganun eh. Hindi mo trip
pero
Pearl Jam!
we're doing
Hindi na tayo friends! Don't worry, we're past that, kid. We're past that.
correct, diba? So I really like the album 10. I like it. I love it.
Best album ever. Ever.
Meron ako doon, actually. I think I have it.
Oh,
But
yun. Meron.
yeah. Also, para alam mo pa, El, honestly, feeling ko kasi type ko si Kurt Cobain. Kaya ako Nirvana pa.
Ganun naman yun eh. Mas gwapo naman siya talaga. Well, gwapo din naman si Eddie. Pero, ano yan, by taste, by taste.
Mahilig pala ako bata pa ako, mahilig na ako sa blonde. Tsaka sa mga effeminate, ganyan.
Bad boy. Mahilig ka sa bad boy.
So Nirvana, after that, it was weird because I went into a Backstreet Boys phase.
There's nothing wrong with that either. Pati
Like,
Spice Girls, walang mali doon.
pero pa, as in major obsessive Backstreet Boys phase siya.
Nandito ka ba nung concert nila?
Wala pa ako nami-miss ni isa.
NKOTBSB? Umiiyak
Yes.
ako nun. Please don't. I mean, pati yung Backstreet's back nila. Ano? NKOTBSB? Di ba? Ganda na.
Good. Ako nag-VO ng concert na yun.
Talaga? Yung sa arena?
Oo, ako yung opening VO, welcoming the opening acts.
Shit.
Sobrang fan talaga ako ng Backstreet Boys. I think it was because I started liking Nick Carter because Nick Carter reminded me of Kurt Cobain. I'm telling you, I have a thing for blonde boys when I was young. So that's how it started, right? So Backstreet Boys got into it. I watched their first concert here, 1997, in Limits Disco in St. Francis Square.
Napakalata eh, Teka lang, bata pa tayo na paano ka nakapasok dun?
Yeah, 97. So ilan taon tayo 97?
16?
40?
40?
Ay, matanda ka sa akin.
Hindi, pareho tayo. Magka-batch tayo.
Ako eh. 83 ako. 83 ako.
Mas matanda ako. 82 ako.
Oo. So mga 14.
Paano ka nakapasok doon?
Hindi ko alam. May
May
kasama ko
kasama
older friends. Naging older friends ko. I was 14.
Kaya nga, pero may kasama kang adult.
No,
So,
just friends.
BSB naman eh. Pwede naman BSB na naman.
Yeah. Tsaka dude, okay, little known fact about me. I used to be a pro figure skater.
Oh, nice. Okay.
A lot of people know that. So, I used to skate in Mega Mall. Mega Mall was my training camp. Which is why it was so easy for me to watch them in Limits kasi magkatapat lang yung Mega 8 at yung Limits, diba? Tumawid lang ako after skating training, diba? So, I was such a fan that I would even have, like, in competitions, I would have numbers na ang song ko, Quit Playing Games With My Heart.
Galing. Dude, bago tayo lumayo dun sa arena, I have seen every musical act who's landed here in the Philippines who I like. Close second to the first best performance I have ever seen was yung concert nila na yun. Doon lang ako naka-experience na sobrang lakas ng sigaw ng mga babae na parang hanggang leeg mo nararamdaman mo, yeah! And the pheromone smell of that fucking arena was like, God damn, these girls are just crazy. Alam mo yun?
Kasi combine nila yung yung 80s tsaka yung 90s titas mo. Combined diba? So,
grabe.
Yeah, that was crazy. I actually watched also their last tour here. This was this year ba? Last year, August. They were here. They promoted their new album. Dude, nanood ako mag-isa. So I got myself front row tickets and I made sure that I was gonna watch alone because I knew that if I brought my husband, I would have to take care of him and I didn't want to. And I know that if I went with friends, like, I'd have to be like, if somebody goes, let's go to the banyo or let's go for a smoke break, I'd have to go. I can't be distracted. The ticket was so expensive. It was like 16,000. So I was like,
Santo.
front row sa arena, MOA.
Okay. Ulit.
So I was like, fuck that. I'm getting my money's worth, right? I'm going alone. So, mag-isa ako na ako, dude. Saya ko. Anyway, I'm such a big Backstreet Boys fan. And then that's, I think, why I got into radio. Because I wanted to meet the Backstreet Boys.
Seryoso ba yan?
I'm not
Teka lang,
joking. And you know what? It
last
happened.
question, last question sa Backstreet. Si Nick Carter ba pumayat?
Yes.
Kasi nung NKOT, BSB, sobrang kadiri nung nakasando siya ako, parang, bro, I love you to death, pero mukha kang, di ba? Mukhang airpat na kumakasayaw, kala mo. Di ba?
At siya ngayon, may muscles na siya ngayon.
Good.
Kasi he married a trainer, a weightlifter.
Updated. Wait, so you get into... Bakit?
Ano?
Paano ka umabot sa NU kung Backstreet ang fandom mo? Hindi, there are so many, di ba? That's not the station. That's the station that rocks the nation. Not boy bands the nation. Sige, go.
Okay, so when I joined the radio, we were in college. We were first year in UANP. I joined RX 93.1.
I did not know that.
Nauna ako sa RX. I went to RX because I wanted to meet the Backstreet Boys, and then they had a student DJ program. But one of the main reasons I did the student DJ program was because I wanted to get into IMC.
Okay.
IMC, Marketing Communications.
I know. Oh.
Right. Okay. So I wanted to get into IMC. And then they were telling me, if you want to get into IMC, it's a super quota course. They only accept whatever, this number of students. You need to parang medyo beef up your credentials. Apart from, your grade point average, kailangan may credentials ka. Titignan din nila yan.
Okay.
So I joined the DJ program because I was thinking, hey, it's communications, it's connected, right? Mm-hmm. So at least I could put that in my resume. And then after 5 months, RX absorbed me kasi somebody quit. So they absorbed me. So I became a full-time employee. I started with the usual. I started with a graveyard shift. Eventually started handling the morning.
How do you, when you apply, you hand out, let's say, high school, diba? High school going into college?
No. We were first year na. First year college na.
Okay. Okay. So, kaya, that's why you were beef. Kumbaga, sorry, EM kasi ako eh. So, CAS is 2 years of basic ed bago ka mag-go.
Yes. Okay. Wala ka pa kasi major, diba? So, parang you have to apply for your major.
Yeah.
So,
galing. Okay.
Yeah, so I got into RX. I did the graveyard shift for the longest time. It was so hard.
Paano interview doon? They make you do a test read or just like a flat out?
Yeah, they asked me to send in a demo, a tape. So I sent in a tape, and after like a week, maybe they called me in for a recording.
Wait, when you send the tape, sorry, I like the details. Kunyari, you would record, may mic ka, literal na tape pa to. Tapos what script do you read? How do you?
Wala, I just I think I wrote my own script and I patterned it after. I had to study what the DJs would say and how they would segue the song. Studied it. I wrote my own script. I read it, recorded it, sent it. Then they asked me to come in. They asked me to read a bunch of stuff. Yeah, yun. And then after that, they called me in. They're like, okay, you're in the DJ program. And then after 5 months, they absorbed me. I was doing graveyard. It was so difficult because we would have graveyard shift is 2 to 6 a.m.
Ooh.
Yeah, so sometimes we would have classes at 7:30, diba?
Sunod kong tanong.
Dude, after my show, I sleep 6 a.m. I take a nap in the booth, and then Chico and Delamar yung susunod sa akin eh. And then Chico and Delamar would wake me up at 7:30. And then diretso na ako sa school.
Kasi mas malapit. Saan ang office? Malapit di ba?
Strata, Emerald
exactly,
Avenue.
Kaya malapit. Yeah.
So I would go straight to school.
Wow, dude. Sipag. Bayad yon, malamang. Yung time na yun.
Oo. Dude, sobrang minimal. Parang,
magkano
oh my God.
Time na yun?
Dude, parang 5,000 a month.
For 5 days of work a week?
6 days of 3 hours. 4 hours. Kasi graveyard is 2 to 6 a.m.
Ulit yun ah.
No, tapos
Oh.
eventually, when I got a better time slot na, 8,000 na.
Wait, better time slot is prime time na. This is...
Never ako nag-prime time eh. I always had the parang mga 9 a.m. to 12 noon shows, mga ganyan. Mga 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. shows.
Okay.
But the thing, well, syempre, kung student ka, malaki na yun na may extra.
Oh,
may extra.
of course.
And other than that, do you notice why all these radio personalities have so much racket? They have so many hosting.
Mm-hmm.
They have other jobs. Because you can't survive on the pay of radio alone.
Yeah,
so you need to make racket wherever.
Mm-hmm.
So after RX, I was there for 5 years.
So you up tayo?
What?
RX ka pa nun? Nung you up tayo, you were at RX. Okay.
RX pa ako nun. I stopped going to school because parang ang dami ko ng hostings, ang dami na. Tapos parang it's so easy for, how your parents would always say, when you're studying, parang they discourage you from working because they're scared baka you drop out kasi once you start feeling na parang nasasweldohan ka na, independent ka na.
Ako. Yeah.
Parang I wouldn't listen to them. I'd be like, no, I'm smarter than that. But the exact thing happened to me. It's like, fuck, like, why do I need to go to school? Parang, I have a career, I'm so busy, I have so much stuff to do, ganyan. So I stopped for a while, maybe mga couple of years, and then I went back. When I went back, I resigned from RX kasi I knew na that I couldn't.
2006. Ganyan.
I couldn't juggle it anymore.
Juggle it
what? Sorry?
Juggle it with racket.
I couldn't juggle working and school. I knew I could, diba? Parang I proved it already. I had to stop school diba? So parang di ko siya kaya sabay. I actually moved to CSB because at that time, they just rolled out multimedia arts and I was like, ayoko na mag-business school. Gusto ko, creative ako. You know what I mean?
Yep. I get it.
Diba? Parang the things I learned from being an RX made me realize na parang I connect better with artists, So multimedia arts came out and I was like, hey, it's connected to what I do, the broadcasting. I wanna do it. So I moved to CSB, did multimedia arts, finished school. After I finished school,
3 years.
My thesis. Parang ano lang siya. Basta sandali lang ako doon.
Okay.
I had to do my thesis. And my thesis was documentary.
Nice.
And I was like, gusto ko parang this is Spinal Tap. So gusto ko gumawa ng
Nice. Ganda.
Peg ko. So ginawa ko is so it became a mockumentary. So gumawa ako ng script na I'm getting real life music industry people to play.
Siyempre, kilala mo na yun.
Okay. So I got musicians, I got whatever. And then I got Francis Reyes. Right? So I was like, Francis, parang just play yourself. Ito yung script mo. Kunyari, itong banda na to nag-a-apply for In The Raw. Tapos ito yung sasabihin mo. Parang gano'n.
Okay.
So,
pro bono to. Kasi estudyante ko. Pro bono.
Oo. So I went to NU. I shot Kiko in NU. And then after that, he was like, di ba RX ka dati? I was like, oo. Tapos sabi niya, nasa RX ka pa ba? And I was like, hindi na. Parang mga 2 years na ganyan. And he was like, do you want to go back to radio? Kasi may opening kami. And then I was like, what? And because he was like, because you're graduating already, right? I was like, yes, this thesis is the last one. Okay, may opening kami. And then he was like, halika, punta tayo dun sa recording booth. Record lang kita. So, ganun. Like, after I shot him for the thesis, I did the recording. And then maybe like a few weeks later, he called me in. And then I got the job. I never hid like my Backstreet Boys obsession. Never did. But he did ask me a lot about my rock knowledge. And I think na parang he was happy na yung foundation ko was rock. You know what I mean?
Wait, so Pasig din ang office nito, di ba? NU is doon malapit lang din sa school, di ba? Ano?
Yeah. It's near lang. It's
what's the name of the school?
Corner Emerald.
There you go, Emerald. Yeah.
So that's how I joined NU. And then I stayed there for 3-4 years until the station closed down.
What was your show? I was racking my head what your show was.
Stairway to 7.
Yo, there you go. Tapos, sino voted yun, no? How did that go again?
It's a daily countdown. So, it's your daily top 7 songs. Tapos yun, by ano siya, tinatali siya by requests. So, meron
Text,
kaming
tawag.
na taga-tally. So, as soon as papasok lahat ng requests, bilang yan.
So,
And then
legit
there,
yun. Honestly, meron bang time na hindi legit yung nasa top 7?
siyempre.
Yeah!
Ano ba?
Thank you! Lagi ko na naisip yun. Kasi I remember, I'm like, ito na naman? Bakit ito na naman? I remember those times.
Okay. Pero, syempre medyo may tweak siya, but hindi ka pwedeng lumayo from the real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can, like, okay, so, this song should be at number 2 na, pero parang gusto ko pa siya ibabad ng konti sa number 1.
I knew it! I knew it! I knew it!
Pwede yung straight up na, let's say, wala sa countdown, biglang, ay, number 4 siya bigla. You know what I mean? Hindi pa yun.
I knew it.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I just want, it's always been a theory. That's why I asked. Kasi ka parang, di ako naniniwalang number 1 pa to. I don't remember what song it was, pero ano yun, ikaw may call nun? Or kayo? Sino may call nun? Ikaw?
Usually DJ on board. Wag ka lang magpapahuli. Papahuli ako sa pero
actually, kaya tayo nag-podcast para lang malaman ko yun. Dela ko.
Nakala mo akong gines, wala kaya ka?
Dela ko lang.
Diretso mo na ako. Hindi. Yeah, syempre meron. But it's not, kasi some people think na, parang this band's gonna go there, iba-bribe niya, tapos kukunin mo yung bribe. Hindi. There's that, parang, yun yung pinakabawal sa NU. Bawal yung bribery. So, a lot of bands try. Like, I won't...
Bribe? How? Like, pansit for you, Kim. Number 1 kami this week. Paano bribe?
As simple lang. Hindi naman yung super overt na bribery. But as simple as bringing you Sonia's cupcakes. Like every twice a week. Or buying pizza for the entire station. Or let's say, inviting you to their gig. Tapos parang super VIP treatment.
Hindi naman bribe yun. Hindi bribe yun. Mas bribe yung pizza. Inviting to the gig.
Yeah. Madaming ganon. Pero simple lang. You know what I mean? Mga ano lang.
Pero hindi na pinagbibigyan yun. Pag ganon.
No. Yun, bawal talaga yun. So, that's what we try to avoid. Yung mga rig na konti. Yan lang yung mga, shit, ayoko mag-number 1 tong song na to kasi ang
Adaya!
Number 1, mawawalan ng credibility yung NU.
Ganon. So it was in the interest of the station also.
Oo naman, hindi naman pwedeng sa interest of the
Malay ko ba favoritism, di ba? Kasi, okay, now I remember, ito pala isang tanong. Ewan ko kung nandun ka na nun. Si Eminem, yung Slim Shady niya, nandun ka na ba nun?
Wala
pa. Yung Hayop na yun was number 1 for like 3 months. Ako, hindi to rock eh. Yun ang naalala ko na, paano naging number 1 pa rin to? Anyway.
Alam mo, it can be, okay, ang theory ko dyan is it can be parang, NU was trying to establish itself as a new rock. You know what I mean? Station.
But it's not even rock. It's not, Eminem is not rock.
Yeah, pero parang may times kasi na for imaging, meron ka mga benders here and there. You know what I mean?
Oo.
May Avril Lavigne nga kami, ano ba?
Mas rock naman yun kaysa kay Eminem. At saka type ko si Avril, Hindi mo type si
Avril.
Just,
cute nga siya.
Cute siya. And then, tsaka I like her songs. Cute yung mga songs.
Skater Boy, I like Skater Boy.
Tomorrow.
Pero dude, pinag-aawayan yun. I remember in NU, there was one time, I will not name the DJ, but there was a DJ who was new in NU, also came from a pop station. And then she played Avril. The thing with the NU DJs is, walang tumutugtog kay Avril. No one plays Avril, right?
Paano siya nakakatugtog? How does she get airplay?
Minsan pag kailangan, lalagay, pero if it's a choice, let's say remote control weekend, diba? Tapos choice ng DJ, siya ka naman nag-request. Hindi nila gagawin yan. So, this DJ, she played Avril Lavigne. Dude, she got so much shit. She got bullied so much for like the entire week. Like, people were like,
By the
oh, it's
people.
Avril. Ha?
By the people,
Oh,
not by you guys.
no, wala pa ako nun eh. Kwento
Okay.
sa akin to. This was maybe mga 2 months before I came in.
Uh-huh.
Kasi parang, hey, parang, learn the culture first around here, parang ganyan. Parang don't bring in your pop station training, kumbaga, here. Kasi it's very different. Parang the culture is very different. So, yun, and then that was an example. So, may mga ganon na nangyayari minsan.
Galing din ah. Pero ikaw, given your Backstreet Boy love, hindi ka naman nila binigyan ng shade. Kasi alam naman
They
nila.
always do. They always do. But the thing is,
Harot lang,
parang,
lambing.
yeah, I don't get mad kasi. So, since hindi ako napipikon, like, I make them gatong. So, since I make them gatong, it just became like an endearment thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, an example, right? There was one concert of the Backstreet Boys back in maybe 2008. Alam mo, NKOT-BSB ata to pa LA. But anyway, may concert sila dito.
NKOT-BSB was 11.
Okay, so it wasn't. It was the one before that. Never Gone. It was a Never Gone tour, I think. So,
alam talaga lahat. Okay.
So, ako siya, parang yung time slot ko that time for Stairway to 7 was 3 to 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Right? 5 p.m., may press con sa EDSA Shangri-La yung Backstreet Boys.
Oh, shit. Lapit lang.
Nakakuha ako ng pass kasi syempre friends ko na yung mga record label, diba? So, I got a pass. So, I was so desperate. I actually made paalam to Francis. Si Francis kasi yung boss namin lahat that time. Siya yung station director, program director.
Okay.
I made paalam to Francis and like, Kicks, merong 5 p.m. na press ko yung Backstreet Boys. I have a pass. Gusto ko talaga pumunta. Wala akong pakialam kung bigyan mo ako ng memo. Pero payagan mo ako, please. And then he go, okay, just tell whoever, I think Pontry was after me. Okay, just tell Pontry to come in earlier, to come in at 4:30. Then you can leave. And I was like, okay. And then when I was in the press con, apparently, like all the DJs that day were saying, so, you know what happened today? Kim left her show to go to the Backstreet Boys press con.
Oh, shit!
You know what I mean? So I got... They were really like announcing it with me. So I was like, okay, like, whatever.
Well, ako, honestly, even as a metalhead, and you know how metal we are, I don't care. I like Backstreet Boys too, dude. I mean, ang galing eh. Ako, again, second to the best, and I've seen every act. Ang number 1 ko lang is Linkin Park. Kasi yung Linkin Park, kung ano tunog ni Chester, hindi ka ba fan ng Linkin Park?
Hindi ako fan ng Linkin Park. Sorry.
Fan ako ng Linkin Park. Chester, sobrang, kung anong boses niya sa record, yun yung boses niya sa stage talaga na.
Kaya ba when he passed away?
Ha? Oo, saan? Sobra. Silang dalawa ni Cornell, magkasunod yun.
Oo, grabe yun.
Grabe yun. Magkasunod yun. Well, anyway, so number 2 lang sila. And I've seen all the rock, STP, name it, lahat ng dumaan dito.
Dude, kasi nun eh. Lasing si Scott Wayland.
Kaya nga eh, wala ka sa tono, hindi na ganun yung feel, wala eh. Pero sila, kung ano yung tunog nila, aside from si Nick Mataba, ganun pa rin yung galaw nila, di ba? Ang galing. I was like, wow. Di ba? Kahit kulang pa sila, nung napinanood ko sila, kulang sila eh. Hindi ko alam kung sino kulang.
Wala si Kevin Richardson.
Yeah. I love trip. Galing. So, paano, what? I don't know if this was ever in print or whatever, but nagsara NU?
Honestly, it wasn't making money. If you notice that when we play commercials, it's the same thing over and over again. It's Red Horse or it's Tribal or it's, I don't know, whatever. But wala kami, yeah, it's the same commercials over and over again because we had no placements. And we had no placements because the rock community, for us, malaki siya. Kasi we're in the community.
Yes.
You know, yep. If you think about it, if you look outside of our circle, maliit lang tayo. Yep. So if you consider your mainstream audience, your massa audience, we're but a speck and that, you know, whole picture. So of course advertisers would place because very niche yung audience mo. Baka naman hindi nila target market yan. Kung sabong panlaba ko, ba't ako mag-place sa NU? Diba? You know what I mean?
Yep,
so
yep.
So they'd rather place ads in pop stations, which is why the pop stations are doing so well until now. And then there was
Are
a
they
business
doing
opportunity.
well now?
They are quite right now. I don't know now that things are online, but I think they are quite. There's big money in media placements, Pal. You should know this because you
Of
also
course.
came from
Yeah.
that world.
Yep, yep.
So I think there was an opportunity. An opportunity was presented to the owners of NU to reformat the
Mhm.
station. And parang if you do reformat the station, they did the whole P&L forecasting and
Mhm.
saw na your advertisers would come in.
Mhm.
So yeah, so they had to make the very difficult decision to. Syempre, it's a business at the end of
Of
it all,
course, of
right?
course. Yeah, yeah,
Being funded, like how will it survive? NU DJs are the lowest paid DJs in the entire industry
yeah. Mhm.
because we're really not making money.
Mhm.
That's why dami ring racket ng mga NU DJ, di ba? Lahat
Mhm.
patol. When I was there, lahat na lang, hinost ko, Music Laban, Summer
Mhm.
Slam,
Ah.
Dut-dutan, lahat, pinapatuloy
Dutdutan.
ko.
Oo nga, nakita din tayo sa dutdutan. Ah.
Lahat yan. So, that's why parang my nickname was Ate NU. Kasi parang these people, the crowd, they would call me Ate NU because they'd forget my name. Ate NU, Ate NU. So they run. So, yeah. So, I guess, yeah,
Go, go,
I
go.
guess parang we can't really fault anyone for it also kasi
Mhm.
wala, business is business. Then we just need to find ways to, yun lang, lakas kasi ng community. So we just need to find ways to kind
Was
of.
wasn't it the advent also of your Spotify and your online, alam mo yun,
Yes,
also?
pero hindi pa siya, actually hindi pa masyado, 2010, parang hindi pa siya factor. Hindi pa siya factor.
Sa bagay, 2010 ba? Ganun na ba katagal?
Oo, 2010, 10 years ago.
Shit!
Dude,
Wow!
did you watch a reunion show? We had a reunion show.
Kailan? Di ko lang.
Um, I think around May. It's if you look at the edu page, we had the DJs from the last batch come together. We
Mhm.
had a 4-hour show.
Nice.
We had guests, Urban Dub, Gabby, Ebe, they played, Rico Blanco was there. It
Mhm.
was super fun. And then what's great about NU is, kasi hanggang ngayon buhay pa rin yung light page.
Uh-huh.
So, like, dude, meron pa rin mga, sir, kailan ba kayo babalik sa stasyon? Or sir, kailan ba namin saan ba namin kayo mapapakinggan? Dahil pa rin ganyan. So
Uh-huh.
parang, look at it, we were like, dude, since naka-lockdown naman tayo, reunion tayo. Kasi parang feeling ko madami manonood. So I tried to post a teaser, right? Na parang,
Yan. Ganda ng
and
segue. Oo.
to fish lang, dude.
Mhm.
Sobrang daming pickups to the point na nagkaroon ng pickups from digital publications. Bigla may mga nagre-release ng mga articles na, is NU 107 gonna be having a reunion? Ganyan. So parang we're like, okay, fuck, let's do it, right?
Uh-huh.
So the community is so strong. After we had probably 265,000 views,
Wow!
like,
Nice!
parang
Wait,
4,000
May
plus.
to? May? This May?
This is around May or June. We did a live show.
See what I mean? Good.
Yeah, one of the reasons we also did it, kasi nga nag-ahensya ako, diba? Tapos parang one of the ways na nag-pivot kami ng business is I started getting into the live streaming business because it's something that we needed to offer brands, right?
Uh-huh.
And then my husband, syempre, that's also what he's doing on the
Yep.
event side.
Mhm.
He's also directing the streams. At that point, parang gamay na namin yung software.
Exactly.
So we're like, alam na natin yung software diba?
Might as well.
Correct. So, yeah, so that happened. And yeah, so because of that, parang there are some good things coming out of the lockdown naman.
Yun. So, wag na tayo maglokohan pa. When you posted that you and Francis were doing the show, let's talk about that. I want you to talk about that.
Yun ako pa segue, yung galing pa talaga pa
inuunahan na kita kasi baka mag-ano ka pa naman ads eh. Doon na tayo sa gagawin nyo. I want to talk about it. Tapos?
So Francis and I, this is actually because of the NU reunion, right? So after the NU reunion, all of us felt that this is the first time we felt that high of doing a live show in 10 years. Kasi imagine lahat kami nagkanya-kanya na
Of
after 10
course,
years. So we're like,
yes.
nakaka-miss, diba? Nakaka-miss mag-live broadcast.
Mhm.
So, after that, may block, kasi per block namin ginawa yung show. In my block, it was me, Francis, and Russ Davis.
Okay.
Parang napaisip kami ni Francis na parang ganda pa rin ang chemistry namin. Diba?
Mhm.
So, what do you think? And then, I mentioned to him na, hey, I was checking the NU page, ang daming nagsasubmit ng demo. Parang,
Well,
wala na
ako
in the...
nag-submit ako nung nag-call out ka.
Ayun, so ang dami
Diba?
nagsasubmit ng demo. So parang sabi ni Kiko, this was the NU page siya. This was even before we wanted to have a show.
Ah, pa
Then he was
rin?
like,
Wow.
oh,
Ilan?
he
Ilan
was
ang
like,
madami?
dude, like every day, we'd probably get mga 3 to 4 inquiries on the page. Oo, na parang, ma'am, baka pwede nyo naman po pakinggan ganyan. Na parang, dude, imagine, this station has been dead for 10 years. Why are you still sending in your stuff? 10 years, diba? So parang I was telling Kiko, alam mo, more than anything, more than fan service, I think there is an actual need in the local industry to have a show like In the Raw again. Kasi parang wala nang masyadong platform for discovering new talents. I mean, may mga bago na, di ba? You have, let's say, Bandwagon, ganyan, sure. But walang critique show eh. You know what I mean? Like a critique show that can actually guide you. Kasi if you think about it, In the Raw birthed the biggest bands in the Philippines, like Sandwich, Itchy Worms, and whatever. All these bands, broke out because of In the Raw. So parang Francis was saying, actually, siya rin, the past 10 years, kinukulit siya ng madaming tao na parang,
I'm sure.
hindi ka ba mag-In the Raw ulit? So parang, pinag-usapan namin, and we're like, you know what? It looks like there's a need, but we don't want it to be In the Raw again. Kasi iba na pa like the way you discover music now, the way you discover artists, it's very different. Like social media it's a need now. You need to know how to market yourself and use social media channels. It's the only way to get the word out, right? So the show is called Toaster Roast. It's basically a revamped version of In the Raw. Francis will still be critiquing the music. The reason that I'm there is because I'm the one who's going to be assessing the branding and the marketing side. So instead of just getting a critique on your music, you also get, advice or an assessment of how you're marketing yourself or a guidance
from an agency point of view. Kumbaga.
From an agency point of view. But the show's not going to be about us. Of course, it's about the artists. We're going to feature, let's say, maybe four entries a day, totally random. Then we're going to be guesting also musicians from the music business to give their 2 cents worth as well.
How many days a week? Which days? When have you launched? When will you launch?
Not yet. We just did a test run this weekend. We're probably launching maybe in 2 weeks. We're just getting all the launch assets together. Maybe next week or in 2 weeks. But this is gonna be once a week, every Saturday.
Where?
Not to determine the time. But yeah, it's gonna be every Saturday. It's a 40-minute show. It's a quick show.
Where?
Oh, it's gonna be. We have a Toast or Roast Facebook page. It's not up yet. It's gonna be up this week. We're gonna be streaming on the page, so it's actually a video show.
I was about to say that. Yeah, good. Tapos, as you're listening to the tracks, paano?
Okay. What do you mean? What do you mean as we're listening to the tracks?
Diba, it's you're going to roast like the bands who give their
we're going to be playing the tracks. Yeah. We're going to be playing the tracks visually. So kung may music video, we're going to play the music video. Kung walang music video, we're going to animate something. So you're looking at something while the track is playing.
Okay.
After the track, if we finish it, there are going to be a couple of songs that are pre-selected. Meaning parang, okay, i-feature tong mga songs na to, i-feature natin siya. So parang pick of the week siya. And then there's gonna be 2 mystery tracks na we haven't heard prior. So it's gonna be the first time we hear.
You guys haven't heard.
Yes. It's gonna be the first time we're hearing it in the show. Para it's authentic. You know what I mean? Para it's not rigged. So,
kumbaga, alam mo na sasabihin mo when you hear, once it's played.
oo. Ito surprise talaga. Tsaka parang, kasi kung alam mo rin sasabihin mo, tendency is mag-filter ka eh. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Let's say, try mo i-filter, paano ko ba sasabihin na pangit siya without saying na pangit siya? So parang yung okay dun sa mystery tracks is, kung pangit siya and you feel na pangit siya, wala kang time mag-filter. You know what I mean? So,
pero you should still filter because you might hurt feelings na pangit, di ba? You're not gonna do that. Diba? That's just...
Of course, that's always going to be constructive. I think that's the keyword. It's going to be constructive. It's going to be honest, though. Like, if it's not working out, it's not working out. Kung sintonado yung gitara, sintonado yung gitara. You know, but...
Makakahiya naman sa lahat ng gamit nila ngayon, masisintonado pa gitara. Nangyayari pa ba yun? Diba? With all your auto-tuning shit, diba? Hindi na ata pwede maging sintonado ngayon ng gitara eh.
Sobrang sad nun, diba? Paano sintonado yung auto-tune mo? Hala.
Pero meron pa? You think I mean, given the volume of artists, are they still bands or just artists? Yung mga nagsasabi sa inyo?
So I was looking through the email, okay? What's amazing about it is, so we called for entries on our personal pages, Francis's page and my page. We haven't called out on the NU page kasi we know na pag nag-call out kami sa NU page, sasabog yan. Kasi
wait, Kim, sorry, pause. So given the volume, gaano kadami ang madami? So yung sa'yo muna, yung sa'yo lang. Hindi, pero naka-filter pala sa isang email, no?
And, naka one email kami. Well, when we called out for entries, after 1 week, may 200 entries na.
Wow! Dami na nun! So, 200 divided by, ilan ba? 4? Kasi 4 weeks in a month. Ano yun? 50? 50 weeks?
Ako ba talaga? Ako nag-art school nga ako, diba?
Wala ko din naman. Wala din. Pero, I mean, dami nun. What I mean is, what I'm pointing out is, you have material to, diba? To do the show. Galing.
So basically, may evergreen content ka. Which is also why, para we're like, okay, this can work kasi dami eh. Hindi ka maubusan ng Hindi ka maubusan ng entries eh.
Hindi, ito nga tanong ko. Are they bands or solo acts? Ano ang ratio?
I went through it. Still mostly bands.
Good. Good.
Still mostly bands. Pero, madaming solo acts. Tsaka may mga hip-hop pa.
Kaya nga, ano nga ang ratio? Na, if you were to hindi ko sasabi, just a ballpark. Out of 10, kunyari, ilan ang banda, ilan ang solo act?
Ng band to solo act?
Out of 10, kunwari.
8:2.
Wow. Okay. Dami nun. 8 na banda. Nakakabanda pa sila. Good.
Dami banda, dude. Tsaka we're getting entries from May mga entries from Singapore, from Canada, from US. Pero mga Pinoy. Mga Pinoy na may banda abroad. Or we're also getting entries for those. Okay. Just to make it clear, Toaster Rose, we're not gonna be strictly rock. Of course, our foundation is rock. So you can still expect this going to be mostly a rock show. But if somebody submits a hip hop track, if somebody submits a medyo pop track, we're open to it. We won't discriminate.
Nice. Good.
So
maybe that's also a good step. Kasi syempre, you got Francis who's rock, and they got you who's, let's say, eclectic, diba? As long as it's not
ay term mo.
Diba? Eclectic. Diba? Para hindi naman kasi strictly boy band kasi meron ka namang Nirvana in your blood and ano mo yun. So, what I'm trying to say is, you're not restricting your market, which is the quote-unquote mistake of NU. Although kasi NU is the tail end of a rock generation also eh. I mean, 2010, hindi na rin siya. Pop was rock. Let's face it. Rock was pop rather. Rock was pop in our era, diba? 90s to early 2000. Pero 2010 wala na. So now that you're opening your doors to like other acts, you get to listen to and critique it properly also. Ang problema, mga DJ shit, paano yun? Where's the line?
Okay. For DJ stuff, I don't think we're gonna be close-minded about it. I think though these are probably the things that we'll need to pre-screen. Kasi hindi namin pareho expertise ni Francis ang ano eh, ang that kind of music. You know what I mean? So we need to be able to pre-screen it to make sure that we can give a valuable critique. Kasi imagine diba? Parang di kami familiar kung paano nyo ba ginagawa yung
So
music
where's
nyo.
the line? Yeah. So what's the line? Is there a line? Or is it just more kung anong meron ka artist get on? Gets on?
I wouldn't say there's a line. It's more of, yun lang, we will have to pre-screen.
Okay.
Instead of playing it for the first time live. You know what I mean? Baka hindi namin magawa yun for these genres. Kasi dude, alam mo, sobrang muddled na ng genres now eh. Like, most of the bands that submitted entries, a lot of them don't sound rock, but they're supposed to be rock bands, but a lot of their music sound indie pop. Indie pop is so in. Like, there's so many indie pop.
Your Ben and Ben's, diba?
Yeah, your Ben and Ben's, correct. And then you have your, ang dami ring submission na parang, rock ba to? Electronica.
That's what I'm saying. Kasi may linya din na, kunyari, mala 9-inch nails. Diba?
Exactly.
Mayroon namang maingay siya, but it's just one dude. Diba?
So, yun yung mga things na baka kailangan namin i-review prior to determine kung
so, kumbaga, it will rely on your experience and your knowledge to be able to advise. Tama?
Yeah, because otherwise, parang, what are we doing it for? You know what I mean? We don't want to pretend to be experts at something we're not. Right? So,
nice.
Yeah.
Galing. Teka lang, I know you have to sleep, and thank you so much for spending we're almost at 2 hours. Thank you, Kim. You're the best. But before we close it, I always want to close with an inspirational message. For example, to anyone who wants to pursue their dream of being a creative, or whether it be in drawing, script writing, or whatever. Ay, sorry, bago yan. Ikaw, ba't hindi ka nagsusulat? Have you tried writing scripts and stories?
Yeah, like when I joined agency, I applied as a copywriter, but they hired me as an account manager. So that was a shoot down, right?
No. But then like script, like a movie script, or for a television, or anything, like a fiction, kumbaga. I'm asking, have you ever considered writing fiction?
Yes, I have. In fact, when I left UANP and I wanted to pursue a more creative route, I was really looking at the creative writing courses of UP, and Ateneo also had the creative writing course at the time. The only reason I chose multimedia arts was because I was also thinking, okay, so when I graduate, what's going to be my job? You know what I mean? Like if I pursue creative writing, may pera ba ako when I graduate? Which is why I went into multimedia arts. Kasi parang, I can still write, I can still direct movies, I can learn how to do animation and do all these things, and I will more easily find a job because I can do a bit of, more things. So yeah, I considered creative writing. But life has other plans.
No, I know, I get that. But what I'm asking is, do you have the juice to write something? Kasi okay, I'm asking because like, ako on my end, like I told you before we started, me and Vince are working on like a side project, which is the comic book. My question is, given your experience, and right now, mas gets mo na? You're not in a college mindset of, I need a degree to be able to write. You have enough experience to write something fiction. Do you have that? And lalo na inspired ka ni anime ngayon, tsaka nila Korean telenovela, di ba? Which sayang di natin na touch on. Pero, you get what I mean? Do you have it? Do you think you have it in you?
To be very honest, I feel like kung meron nawala na, all of my years in
seryoso?
All of my years in agency, being in accounts kasi your role is to dissect the creatives. You know how this works, right?
I
need to look at ideas and I need to see if they're feasible or not. I need to see if they're good or not. I need to come from a strategic mindset. So all the years of me trying to be strategic when I assess work, it kind of killed. I think it kind of killed the whatever creative juice I had. Because now I look at it creatively. I'm always gonna make barrel myself in my head.
Which is why I think writing fiction might be a good, again, suggestion. Kasi dude, you've read so much, di ba? And
Dinagdagan mo pa ako ng ano, dinagdagan mo pa ako.
hindi. Makinig ka muna.
Takot na ako.
Hindi. Ito nga yung, I'm suggesting this as a distressing, alam mo yun? Like a distressing, think of it this way. You're watering plants, di ba? Ngayon, alam mo na kailangan, I'm not being preachy, I'm just trying to be inspirational.
I love plants. You have plants.
Kaya nga, yun nga, you have plants, di ba? You're watering them. Imagine this other plant na didiligan mo every now and then, which could possibly be a novel someday, which possibly could be a series. Alam mo yun, like a J.K. Rowling type story. I mean, you know what I mean? Na she used to write on napkins until it became she started writing on notebooks, and then it became Harry Potter, and then now she's the most, alam mo yun, kasi ikaw, I think, as a creative, and this is my opinion, it's especially after hearing your story, di ba? Don't you, instead of looking at it as, ay hindi, babarilin ko to idea to, it's more of your, like how I feel, that when I'm doing the comic on top of everything else that I'm doing, it's more of like, the fuck you, gagawin ko ano gusto ko dito sa comic nito. Masarap din eh.
Okay.
I want to share that experience, which on your end, baka you have that. I know that it may have died somewhere, but I think now that we're older, we also have the experience, the wisdom to say na, I think this is a cool story. Fuck you if you don't buy it, if you do, or if you do. Baka lang meron ka.
I'm not closing my doors to that, or I'm not going to be averse to it. I feel like though for that to happen, I need to be inspired to do it. Okay. So at this point, it's a matter of finding that inspiration that would actually push me to get, the old creative juices flowing.
Good. But let this be the first seed, kumbaga. Promise, dude. I want to share that it's liberating and relaxing. It might also help your anxiety because it becomes like a, alam mo yun, like a, how do I say it? Like a dumping ground for your shit. Kasi ako, especially with this COVID thing, dude, ang sarap ng feeling na I will do my commissions till this time. This specific time I will dedicate to my own shit. Talagang, I guess you have that with your show, but I don't know. Feeling ko kaya mo mag-fiction. Feeling ko lang. Hindi kita pina-pressure.
Malay mo when things like get old for me, like doing shows and all that.
Let it percolate. Kasi sayang. I have especially with everything you've read, I'm sure when you touch pen to paper or like whatever cell phone writing, you'll come up with something. Opinion lang, feeling ko lang.
I admire that you do that though, Pal, because I feel like that takes a certain, and it's not just wisdom it takes courage to do something like that. Kasi parang syempre when you're older na, you have insecurities about your capabilities and your skills,
Hindi
so it's like,
lagpas na nga tayo dun di ba? Tapos na tayo maging insecure kasi mas matanda na tayo di ba?
Ganun pa rin ako. Oh my God, on ba yan?
But honestly, I'll be transparent. Medyo meron pa rin. That's why I have Wincy to tell me, I'll send him a page and he'll be like, in my head, parang, is it good enough? Is it ganyan? He'll be like, no, dude, ang galing, don't worry. May ganun, I guess that's, yun yung
what I think is really important for you to do something like that, for you to pursue an interest like that. A mentor type figure, I think would be important. Kasi meron kang confidence booster, meron kang moral booster, meron mag-encourage sa'yo So, I think that's what Wincy probably does for you.
That's true. That's actually a good point. Yeah, he serves as the editor. Na tipong, but the story is all his I mean, not all his. It's our story. Pero, pag nakita niya, na I'm like, is enough? Are the colors correct? Meron pa rin. I will not be all pamacho and shit na walang insecurity. Meron pa rin. Pero tama ka nga. May ganong factor na, hindi, okay na yan. Next page. Do the next page. Kapag it's a, I don't know.
May moral support, kumbaga.
Moral support. Hindi din moral support kasi siya din Gets? Kasi he'll throw me pages and he'll be like, okay na ba yung kwento? Alam mo yun? Kumbaga, it's more of a pasahan na
teammateship. Ano ba yan? See, how can you write a novel? Oh my God, Pel! How? Teammateship! That's what I meant.
What's the proper term? Ano pag magaling nakakampi? Anong English nun? Hindi teammateship.
Fuck. Alam mo ng novel ako nagsulat kapag may teammateship sa may
Galing, galing. Well, anyway, that's my suggestion. Pero ikaw, as someone who has gone through an amazing story, thank you for sharing that. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. What would you tell the younger generation or to anyone who's listening to this who wants to be inspired and, especially given the times we're in or not in? Anong suggestion? Anong yung 2 cents?
For me, it's really your reality is what you make of it. There are so many ways that you can be creative. It doesn't need to be the arts. It doesn't need to be literature. You can be creative in business. You can be creative in, basically initiating or starting things that you can look forward to and that will inspire you. So don't wait for an inspiration. Don't wait for an opportunity. You can always make one for yourself. I think that's what I would say.
Galing. Good parting words. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. Everyone who's still listening, and Kim, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Pael.
Again, I would always been proud of you. Always been inspired, an inspiration from afar. Kasi nga, I never told you this kasi pag nakikita tayo dati palaging lasing or palaging nasa party.
Kasi parating gig ng black tooth green. So, bar, mga ganyan. Tapos yung mga tao sa Lagabi, so paano, diba?
Paano, ingay-ingay. Or kailan Z ba tayo? I'm trying to remember, kailan tayo nakita? Z pa ba? Hindi naman.
Z Boracay? Parang. Oh my God! Kasi ano ka pa nun? You were still in PMI. Ikaw ba nagpasok sa amin?
Oh, syempre. Sino pa? Ako. Tingnan mo yung messages natin sa Facebook. Yung pag-scroll ko ka, Pael, we're here na. Z pa to pa.
Oh my God, Z and Boracay, how fun. That was in Sanya, right? Sanya Smith?
Sanya, yeah.
Oh my God, how fun.
Teka lang, sama natin ito, tsaka na tayo magkwento. Anyway, thank you for watching the pages Taglish Network on YouTube and on Facebook. The show is Tambay TV. I'm your host, Pael Fajardo. Adios!